Welcome, everybody, to a Delco Nerd Network Hot Take. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're new here and you've never seen a hot take before, well, it's where a few friends like to get in a basement. We like to give our thoughts, give our opinions on a TV show, a movie, or a game. Today, it's going to be a game, and that game is Death Stranding 2 on the beach. My name is Anthony Ragucci, and here to discuss with me, as always, the legend of legends, Chris Trio.
Gooch, don't be so serious. Okay, let's just get into it. let's just jump.
That was actually perfect because
on the fly.
Probably gonna
too.
get pretty serious. Because this is definitely. I was just kidding around, but like not really kidding. Definitely like I feel like the most important hot take review I have ever done.
Sure.
The games that matter the most to you, you get in
Right.
and you're like, holy shit, I cannot wait to talk about this because. You didn't review Death Stranding 1 with us.
No, I didn't because I don't think I finished
Chaz.
it. Yeah.
And you remember like coming off Death Stranding 1, like understanding it, but like also not really understanding it all at the same time. And like you play it the second time, and it all clicks a little bit more. And you had a similar experience. So before we get into Death Stranding 2, I wanted you to give us a little preamble of playing DS1 for a second time.
Yeah.
It clicking, and then you kind of going right into DS2, because I think that's really important for the experience to see just the little things that change between 1 and 2. I think are really important.
Definitely. And there's some like weird things that change between 1 and 2.
controls.
For sure. That's the specific one for sure.
Dude, I still do it with the crouching and I'm like, oh, okay.
It just throws me off.
It's R1 and circle they switch between.
And like how you jump over things. It just felt a bit more intuitive in the first one, I guess, because it was like, I feel like they were mapped to the normal buttons. Like X was to jump, whereas like now it's like R1 or whatever. But that aside, it was very interesting to get back to DS1 because I the first time I played it, I got to like, I think close to the end and didn't finish it for like the longest time. Then I finally went back and finished it and was just like, okay. And then when this was coming out, I was like, I definitely want to play DS2. I need to go back and re-experience 1 because for the life of me, I barely remembered it. Like, honestly, there were a lot of story points that I re-experienced, specifically the Cliff stuff, where I was like, oh, Sam was his son. And stuff like I'm
Spoiler.
like, oh yeah. Sorry.
Be careful for spoilers.
For all right,
no, that wasn't
like,
to you. That was
sure,
just me.
Yeah. For even for 2, but no,
be
that's
careful.
like there's stuff like that I just was like, oh, I didn't catch that at all the first time, or it went right over.
The context of knowing going back. Helps.
I didn't realize stuff concerning Lou and all that. Like there was a lot there that really kind of washed over me, and
Little Lou,
that I really kind of finally understood. As far as the terms and like the Death Stranding and that kind of greater mythos, it still was a bit like the strands. And there's I love that clip of Norman Reedus when he's talking about working with Kojima, and he's like, okay, now you took the baby and you cry, and he's like, okay, why? He's like, because of the strand and the things, and I'm like,
chiral allergies.
Yeah, and I do feel like Norman in a few of those moments, but mostly I did grasp what was happening a lot more when it came to the Death Stranding and like what caused it and the functions of each beach and like how everyone has their own personal afterlife and like there, a lot of the greater mythology is still kind of wrapping around in my head, but it settled in much more. And I got to give Kojima a lot of credit for making a post-apocalyptic landscape that we truly have never seen before. It's like weirdly technological mixed with paranormal and like, I don't know, the idea of the afterlife being this own personal thing. It's almost like Egyptian influenced and stuff like that. There is a lot of, mythological influences here that I can appreciate that are super different and out there that I had never seen before. And, getting to re-experience DS1 and go through Sam's story was very cool. And it hit an itch just in the way of the mechanics. Like there's something to these games that I don't know what it is. It scratches like a weird itch that I'm trying to compare it to. Like, I get the package. I deliver the package.
It's a satisfying loop.
And I think they even said it on just Sacred Symbols one time. It's weirdly almost akin, and this might sound silly to you, but to like a power wash simulator.
No, I totally
like
understand that.
As far as like your actions, you're just you're a post-apocalyptic delivery man. You're delivering packages to everyone. You're trying to get 5 stars. It's just immensely satisfying to go through that loop every time. You're building roads, you're building all of these things that then connect to other people's worlds. It was great. And, it was nice to go through with like a fully realized world with like, you could see all these people. I don't remember as many building things throughout the first time that I played DS1. like finding other people's
Right.
structures and things like that. But yeah, it was great, Gooch. I gotta say, it was nice to step back through. I definitely felt like I just absorbed much more of what was going on.
So you played it before COVID, right, or after the first
I think
time?
I played it before. Yeah.
Okay, so
And then
playing
I
it
might have
again.
finished it during COVID. Like,
I was gonna say playing again. So for me, like the COVID elements, like of when people were looking back and they're like, "Wow, DS2 Kojima's a prophet yet again." Like I really felt like I understood it from a whole new scope of things. Where, like one of the lines Amelie talks about extinction not being an ending; it's an opportunity.
Right.
And like you can take that in a lot of different perspectives, whether it's somebody's life or other people's lives or something ending like a relationship or something like that, and kind of putting it in the context of like that extinction, it's not just this permanent end. Like
Right.
it is an opportunity for things to grow, for humanity to persevere,
beginning.
this obstacle to jump over it, a new beginning. And like I didn't really understand that, but replaying it, not just within the context of COVID, but that definitely helps with a viral plague that sweeps across the world. And it's like our humanity's, we have to usurp it and like overcome it. And like that is exactly what they're doing with the Death Stranding. They have to surmount this extinction event and just evolve past it and let it kind of become a footnote in history.
and then even just going off of just how, even just on its face value, how much it was like the pandemic, where we were all stuck in our own little bubbles that were
with the-
really only connected by our Amazon packages and like
Yeah,
our
and the
deliveries
internet.
and the internet, and being able to connect through that way and find these different ways of connecting. It was very prophetical in certain ways and very like, I don't think he ever could have in a million years thought something like that would have happened in a sec. Like,
Yeah.
but just the way it mirrored society at the moment was so uncanny and so just serendipitous, which
Yeah.
is really cool to see.
And so much to a point where Kojima changed whatever he was writing for DS2.
Right, yeah.
COVID made him, I think not just COVID, but he had like an eye problem during COVID, and he like
really?
almost lost his eye or his sight in
wow.
one of his eyes.
Yeah.
Because I remember him being radio dark in like 2020, 2021. Like he wasn't tweeting at all. Which makes sense, I guess, if he can't fucking see.
Right. Or if he's just dealing with something serious. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, he must be. I was kind of thinking like, okay, he must be working
Just
on
down,
DS2. Who knows what game development was like. We've talked about game development during the pandemic a lot. For Japanese people, I imagine that's pretty difficult considering their work culture is like a
Night and day. Yeah.
Right.
Us, yeah.
So he went back to what he was writing and he like changed the entire thing. I would love to see like what exactly was different and how the story was different.
Well, so he shared some concept art, and there looked like one of Sam like
In a suit,
and it looked like
with
he had
fragile.
and he had like a presidential pin on it. Right. That's at least what it
I
looked
don't
like to me.
remember it. I know that like I don't
It
remember
looked
the details.
to me like
but-
he was like the president. Actually.
Yeah, they looked-
like
yeah.
they looked very I don't know, presidential in a weird way. Like, I don't know. I'd be curious to read that script, and apparently he had it finished, right? He was basically
I
done it,
don't
or
know.
he just went
I
back
have
and just
no
rewrote
idea.
completely.
Yoji must have been drawing shit too. Yoji
Yeah.
Sinkawa, like he must
think
have been
he was in
clearly
full pro on that, yeah.
in tuned with it. But I'm wondering, right, where in the process they stopped, and he was like, "I'm trying. How do I do my fake Japanese accent? Stop. I need. We got to go back. I can't even. I don't even think I could do English, but I guess that's kind of it.
I
That's
still
all.
think that's kind of, we got to be careful with the accents. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, it's just interesting, man. Because I'll give him credit. He's a guy who's not afraid to go back and do something like that and really kind of try to change his formula. And I'm not gonna lie. I still think in the first game a lot of the pacing is still a big issue for me, especially when you get to that end part where it's just, all right, what the fuck is happening? We're on the beach and I'm wandering, and then we hit another cutscene, and then it just keeps going, and I'm like, where's it ending? And then it kind of gets into that point of like that scene in The Matrix when it's who's the man, when he goes in the room of all the TVs and he starts
Right,
to explain
yeah.
the Matrix
Architect?
to him. Yeah, and
Yeah.
he's like, it's like, okay, we don't need this much. But I think he learned a lot from that with DS2, and I appreciate that a lot more.
Yeah, going into DS2, jumping ahead a little bit, It definitely, you can tell from the jump. You have the intro, and that's like 20 minutes long, and then you're flung right into the gameplay. Weapons, vehicles, everything.
Way
Whereas
faster.
in Death Stranding 1, I didn't really have a problem with this, but it was definitely a critique of a lot of people of like how slow the game was, and you're not really into the game for like 2 or 3 or 4 hours.
And 1.5 of those hours are cutscenes.
Yeah,
So again,
yeah.
I'm not going to act like these. I love these games. I think they are fantastic. They are still incredibly specific types of games, in my opinion. Like, you're going to watch a gameplay reel of this and be in on it or not. You're very much here for the story. And if you don't like the package delivering stuff and you don't like the mechanic of, getting the packages, finding the most optimal route, building the roads, making everything more organic and
right,
just easy.
contributing to the world as well.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a very specific type of gameplay loop that is not going to be for everyone. But man, if it hits, I just think it's incredibly fantastic. And I think in the first one, like you said, you have those first 4 hours that are slower. You're very much more walking. You get a trike kind of in that first area, but that's it.
Yeah.
And the area is not really even built for the trike as much. You really
Yeah,
need to walk.
yeah.
There's one area with a bunch of trees that you have to go through that have a bunch of
Yeah,
BTs.
the wind farm, yeah.
Yeah. And I felt like the combat this time around was much more gratifying for the first one, especially with the director's cut. I apparently they made a few little tweaks and added a few things. I don't know specifically
the
what it was.
mazer gun, like they gave you a gun like very earlier on. Yeah. The director's cut is definitely the better version of the first one to play. It's got a lot more to it. And honestly, some of the things in the director's cut like didn't really come over to DS2, and I was kind of upset about that, like the trike with the tow.
I know.
I didn't always just want to use a truck to be optimal. Like I wanted to walk sometimes and then use a zip line and then use a coffin. And the director's cut really made delivering with vehicles a bit more, I guess, easier, frankly, because you had different options that weren't just a truck to carry. Like, okay, yeah, maybe you can't fit everything on your back, but you got like 3 or 4 XL cargoes more than you need, but it doesn't grant a truck like you have a trike with the tow or something like that. I feel like in DS2 there's a bit less options, and
it's like truck or like your coffin or like a truck. Yeah,
right.
I agree.
It's either everything's on your back or you're using a truck. Right. Because you can't, and you only have 2 sides for cargo on the trikes. There's
or you have 2 carriers that are following you and you're just walking.
Every negative point I have about this game, which is not much, is nitpicks like this. It's actually has nothing,
I think it's like quality of life stuff
to do with Death Stranding 2, because I happen to think Death Stranding 2 is like an incredible sequel. I didn't know, going from Death Stranding 1, I did not think we were going to get a sequel to this game. I didn't really think it needed it. We got to the end, with Lou being taken out of the BB pod, and it felt
satisfying.
Final. Like, satisfying. Like, we saw this journey through. Sam grew.
He built America.
Right. He connected, much to his dismay. He comes together and he finally warms up to the people that have been helping him this whole time, and they connect, and with Amelie and things like that. It felt good.
Yeah.
It was a package.
No, definitely. It was a beginning, middle, and end. A full and complete story that could have been ended there.
Yeah.
I think one of my major gripes going back through Death Stranding 1, though, is Sam. He's just a blank slate. He barely acts at all. He just kind of is there to be talked to. And he does make a journey of wanting to talk or to hug people and touch people. But aside from that, and it's not Norman Reedus' fault. I just don't think he's given a lot to work with at all. It's all
in the first game.
Yeah, it's all, and I think the second game does a much better job of fleshing him out. I think Amelie and Higgs are very much they're kind of the main characters of that game.
But I think that's because...
No, I get that it's on purpose. That's
right,
fine. But
I think it's very much on purpose as you get into Death Stranding 2. And let's do that.
Yeah.
So going from a really quick turnaround from playing the first game to the second, we kind of talked about it already, but jump into it and then I'll come back
I
around.
mean, I'm careful with this stuff because I don't like jumping in. I couldn't have done Death Stranding 1 for 3 weeks. Death Stranding 2 comes out and I jump into that for 3 weeks or whatever, or what have you. I need a little bit of a break. So I played it about a month before. So I still had some things fresh in my mind. I think the controller aspect would have really thrown me off a lot more if I was coming right off of Death Stranding 1 to Death Stranding 2. But that was the big thing out of the gate. Just random button changes. which again is a minor
even
nitpick.
I had issues with that, and I quickly kind of
Right, and then you kind of
over
get
it.
back into it. Right off the bat, the game looks gorgeous. I will say
It is the best looking game available, in my opinion, especially on console.
so. I disagree.
Oh, come on,
I
Trio.
thought
What's
Assassin's Creed Shadows looks.
Oh,
So the problem
get
here
the
is,
fuck
Gooch,
outta
I
here.
wasn't blown away by Death Stranding 2 because I've been playing Assassin's Creed this whole time.
Oh,
They
man.
look they're gorgeous games. They are that's not to demean Death Stranding 2.
Even the details of the characters.
Yes, I will say the hair does not look good in this, Gooch.
I don't.
There's a part with
really.
Higgs where it looks like it's like off his head, like near the end. Like it doesn't look like it's resting on his head. Other than that, I think Decima looks fantastic as far as like vistas go. When I get to the top of the mountain and I'm on the highest peak and I'm looking out and I see the stars or whatever. What's going on in the sky?
I don't know.
Okay, all right. Anyways,
I
there's
think
like random like auras,
Whatever's
and things.
going on. Yeah.
Either way,
I don't think there's an explanation, which is fine. I'm there with it
For
The-
sure.
The moon's real big. You know?
like I can only explain it this way, Gooch. I took a bunch of pictures in Assassin's Creed.
You didn't touch. I noticed.
I did not touch the photo mode in this just because I was like, yeah, it's gorgeous. I don't know. It just wasn't like blowing me away. And then I do feel like we kind of get to some sort of, I don't want to say repetitive areas, but like the BT areas especially, where I was just like, I don't know. It's like a dreary kind of sad rivered area with grass and stuff. I also thought the BTs in this in general were kind of like, I guess they do move. I thought they were static at first.
They're not.
They aren't. They started
Yeah.
to move, but there are some areas where I felt like they were popping up like pretty regularly.
Yes, there definitely are. I kind of agree with you there. I think the BT placements, the bosses especially, could have been more dynamic and random.
Right.
Because I'm like, oh my god, I gotta fight this fucking octopus again, like in the same fucking spot. Like I was like kind of like annoyed because I'm like, I'm not ready for this, and I'm playing on brutal, so it's pretty difficult. I have to admit, the gameplay wasn't challenging until I get to like the second half of the game.
Right.
And the ghost mechs, especially at the end, man. I don't know how you felt about them, but like when you're fighting a lot of them, whoa, they are overwhelming. And it really, I think the gameplay like kind of goes from like 1 to 100 real quick.
Sure.
For me at least.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, this is like actually a challenge.
I
Like,
will
and
say
I died like 7 times going to not the final not city, but the one before it. The one before you kind of do that final push.
So
Like
I
it's
think
probably like F7 or 6 or something like that.
you saw my map. I was putting in some time on those roads
Yeah.
and all that stuff. So I think that helped me a lot, especially getting to the final knot. I was able to take the road just all the way around, almost completely there.
Okay, I'm still don't have all the roads and
I don't have them all done either.
monorails built.
I have most of them done. I have the East Coast monorail built down to F7. There's one more monorail that I need to build, I think. I thought I had all 3 done, but it was there's one more left. I will say the combat to me was not, and maybe it's because I'm not on brutal, it was not very challenging to me throughout, even
Yeah.
with the ghost mechs. If I had like a gun on my truck, or if I even had like, I don't know, 2 assault rifles or a grenade launcher or something, you start taking them out, your thing goes slow. I'm lighting them up. Like I was really not having much trouble. Even with that last push into F7 when you have to hit the way stations, I was fucking guys up. But you also have support in that part.
Yeah.
Not to say that I didn't like the combat though. It feels tight. It feels great. It feels Kojima. The stealth feels cool. I love a stealth game, Gooch. I know this isn't a hardcore stealth game.
The Phantom Pain of it really comes out.
It very much shines
like
through.
yeah, which is great. I think he's kind of really refined that open world gameplay style, which I like, but I also am looking forward to see something a bit different from him. We can talk about that later.
So one thing I do want to say though too about the environments, they weren't nearly as dynamic as I feel like we were promised they were going to be. At least by the initial setup of the game. And I brought this up to you. As soon as you start, you're with Lou, and it's a very beautiful scene. I love how you're going through those peaks in Mexico, and you like have to stay on top of the mountains.
Yeah.
You get hit with an earthquake, and the
gatequake.
rock face falls and all that stuff. I'm like,
we needed more of that.
Oh,
more
what's-
dynamicness. Of
or
that.
just even if it was happening more, and like I don't know, the wildfires I was expecting
more of.
the gatequakes were interesting.
I'm
but
glad we're talking about the negative in the game.
that's why I just want to know. I do. I want to get the negative out of the way because mostly. Listen,
the negative nitpicks, you know, like
it's like this is the moment to moment gameplay, and they are kind of nitpicks, but I think they matter and they make a difference to how
they do.
how much
But it's not
someone
like-
wants to play, but it didn't stop me, obviously.
Right. It's not like the gameplay is bad. I think that, the gameplay
Not
is
at all.
drastically improved, but it is kind of similar, It's like, it's third person action, you can move a little bit more. There's a lot more tools at your disposal.
100%.
I'm interrupted you.
No,
Go
you're
ahead.
not. No, that's really kind of the major issue I think I had overall with it. And then just we talked about this with the truck. I was using the truck too much. And I got to this point where
you
I
have
was
to have
just-
a moment with yourself to be like, I need to make an effort to travel in various ways.
It was becoming trite. It was becoming, like, I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, get the package, get on the road.
right.
Yeah, literally, like, I'm like the trucker
Chain
on the road.
smoking. Yeah, let's
I
go.
just need to get to Fort Knott.
Give me it all. Just load it all.
Right, and I realized that I was having an issue with that, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna start walking more. I was taking the time. I was like, I could take my truck all the way here, but I'm gonna try the more direct route on foot and maybe mess with things a little bit. But by the end, I just didn't hit the BTs that often because of that. I think,
'cause you're
especially
going
because of the
around them.
roads and yeah. But Gooch, the fucking loop. It's like crack cocaine.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Colin said this on the one where he's like, build the road, upgrade the road, make it faster, get the truck, make the truck faster, get the packages, get it to all the places. Like,
Yeah.
there is like a sequence of events and a building of
5
things.
star. Stop. Do the monorail on the way. Then do the road. Then
Right.
then go back and fit. Yeah. Yeah.
It locks you in.
And I'm more into that. I was doing that loop when I was playing.
right.
You did a lot more before you finished the game than I did, and that really wasn't a conscious effort. I felt like I did a lot, and I missed like 4 or 3 preppers. So the first thing I did when I beat the game, I went back, connected them all, and then I really started my loop. But I went back to Mexico and 5-starred it like within probably the first 20 or 30 hours.
That was the first one that I did.
But I didn't do that when I played Death Stranding 1. I never went back to
Same.
the east part. I just kind of kept moving forward because I was kind of thinking about the game and like what it wanted me to do. And I'm like, I didn't really feel like the game wanted me to go back. I just kind of kept moving forward. And I did that less in DS2 where I kind of was like, all right, I feel like the story is not like kind of pushing me to just keep going. It wants me to, but I feel like Death Stranding 2's world state is much more worldly, if that makes any sense. I kind of feel like I am supporting like the UCA in America. Like the world feels much more connected. I don't know if you're seeing more structures or
Yeah.
there are just a lot more, but like, I'm interacting with your stuff finally and like my other friends' things. Like I love the strand system and the connection, and I wish you could see people's screenshots on the SSS.
I meant to take a picture of mine by the end. I wanted to tell you too, like our screen at the moment.
Yeah. I totally forgot about that too, but mine would be changing anyway.
Yeah, of course.
I have a pretty high Porter grade for sure.
I think
at
yeah,
this
I'm at
point.
like 306 or something.
Yeah, I have to be in either the early 300s or the late 200s.
You were above me for sure. And I think
okay.
because you beat the can't. I'm not gonna lie, Gooch. I'm kind of shitting on you stat wise, so you should probably
Yeah, because you built monorails and roads way
and I'm
before
just
I did.
delivering so much. Yeah, no, it is. I will say, man, there's something to Kojima's I don't know, way of doing things. He does this in Metal Gear. He does this in all of his things. He has these stat things at the end. He has this thing that comes up that
Yeah,
gives
here's
you
your
all of your
rank and your nitty gritty of what you're doing.
something about it. Very satisfying.
Yeah, no,
and being able to go through all your stats. And I heard him in an interview talking about like how he's just going over the heat maps and like all the data coming in from Death Stranding 2. And I'm like,
oh, I see you're playing after you've beat it. Nicely done.
yeah, or like,
players.
dude, that's all of that aftermarket data is probably so fucking cool to look at. Like, you got a screen up and you're like, oh, what's this weird
I
route
wonder
that
how they,
someone
like,
take? Or
collect it.
it's probably very like well done and like intricate. I'm sure.
That'd be cool to look
I'm
at.
sure he has like a heat map of everyone's like patterns of where they're walking, which travels they're taking. Like, it's probably very
how
cool.
they're getting where and what they're using,
What they're
and where
using
they're
the
not
most.
going and what they're not
Wow,
using.
there's this huge like area here that no one's really gone through.
Like,
why is that?
I love the idea of like the pizza dough disc thing.
Yeah.
Like it's so goofy and funny, but like the theme of pizza has been in Death Stranding since 1.
Yeah.
And I haven't really used I'm not like I'm going like half stealth.
Yeah.
Like it's not like a full like I would love to see some like hardcore stealthing. Because some of those camps of in a survivalist get fucking hard. And on Brutal, they see you easy.
Well, there's
so it's
that.
really difficult for me to like fully use like all the stealth stuff because I just feel like I end up kind of gunning them down anyway.
Well, and I was gonna say that's even kind of the issue with the combat for me, and to a point where it's a little too easy. Where I'm like, I almost on
What'd
those
you play on?
Right, normal, like the normal difficulty. Okay. There's the one camp in Mexico that's huge that I did have to stealth. But other than that, for the most part, I could just kind of flush them all out and just take them all out, and I didn't have that much of an issue with it. But no, I do love the delivery, like the pizza delivery theme, and I did love that whole scene with the pizza delivery guy, and he's just, or the pizza man, I should say.
Yeah.
It's great.
The pizza maker.
Yes, and I think that,
You're the delivery guy.
You're the delivery man, that's true. That's one of those things that very much emblemizes, Kojima's
charm
and just knowledge of taste. Like, some people just have taste. Of pizza and of just like
pineapple.
I'm gonna have Sam come in. He's gonna fucking have a karate fight with this pizza guy, and then at the end,
modeled after one of my friends,
right? And by the end, they're gonna be cool. He's gonna give him a pizza hat, a pizza suit, and pizza shoes.
I love that little quest line because like he's delivering like weapons to other people through them, and you're like I'm like, there's guns in this.
Yeah.
Like is this like above board?
Yeah, what's happening?
You're doing it.
Yeah, you're muling for him.
You know that like there's a weapons factory and like somehow guns are getting made and like you're kind of like helping that system, and it's like it's a side thing too. I love it. And then you show up and the ghost mechs are there and you fight them down, and then you realize like he was being held captive.
Mm-hmm. I will say though, I'm sorry, really quick. No. The game incentivized me to go back to Mexico a little bit, Gooch. To colonize. I wanted all their resources. Get me 5 stars. I took all their metals. I took all their ceramics.
I started doing that.
And that's how I built all my early roads.
Taking it back to Australia.
Yeah, give it. And the nice thing about
Mexico Dry.
The nice thing about the Magellan is you can store up to a certain amount, like every delivery place can. Like it has a cap. But then you can just throw things in your private locker.
And I think that's the point. I think we're kind of making fun of this, but I think that's what you're supposed to
do.
Yeah. Clearly.
Yeah.
And then the Magellan becomes, it becomes sort of your transportation, but
your
then
base
it becomes
of operations. Almost,
definitely your base of operations, and we'll talk about it more because I feel like the Magellan is like a character even of itself.
Right.
But like you can get weapons on it and things like that, and I like how that's saved for late game. You're not very overpowered very quickly.
Definitely.
I felt like you do have a lot available in terms of tools and weapons to fight BTs and survivalists. By the way, I don't know if you looked into it. So like the groups of bandits and survivalists and armed, so they're different from the mules. They're not mules at all. There's only one mule in the game, and if you take your backpack off, he'll come and take it. And if you you can tackle him and like hook him up. And if you let him go, he reforms, and he messaged you on the SSS. He's like, I was a mule, but Sam helped me change the error of my ways. But they're not mules. They're out there to actually fight people. They're not addicted to the loop of delivering. That's not what they are. And I'm like, that's interesting because I was reading about a mule, and it says. You get it once you get the corpus. We'll have to talk about the corpus entry. But you get the corpus entry about the mules once you do that. And it says specifically there are not mules in Mexico and Australia like there are in the UCA.
Interesting.
The people there are much more about surviving and being tribal. I'm like, that's so interesting.
And I don't think we did mention that. We're in Australia, mate.
Yeah. I don't know. It's so funny because when I start playing, I'm like, I think the way you go about traveling to these places, I don't think I knew you were going to Mexico, but I don't think I knew you were going to Australia. And I watched all the trailers.
So I heard someone say Australia. I thought we were going. I thought that's where
I knew
we
were going
to in Australia. And then when we started in Mexico, I was like, oh.
And I knew the Magellan's going to take you there, but even with watching all the trailers, I was still like, oh, it doesn't just fly, it goes into the tar currents and it travels underground, and I'm like, it's so different from what I even expected as somebody who's analyzing these trailers and really looking for the messaging and the hints, and it still managed to surprise me.
You're gonna hear me say this a lot today, and again, I wasn't a Kojima convert. I will say that. I felt like he was a bit of a fart sniffer, if I'm honest, at first.
I think he is.
And don't get me wrong, he is. But I mean that in more of an endearing way at this point. Yeah. And because guess what? He's earned the right to sniff his fart a little bit.
I think he has.
Something like the Magellan. Exactly. Oh, it's a flying, ship that's going to go across.
Makes sense.
No, it's diving into these ethereal tar currents that show up that seep up out of the ground. And then when you go under the tar current, everything's like monochrome or whatever. I don't even know. Like
when you're on they're on the beach.
When they're on the beach, I gotcha. So
Yeah.
it's again, concepts I don't think I fully grasp, if I'm honest.
Yeah,
But
I don't think a lot of people
get
do,
over
to
the
be
line
quite honest
enough
with
for
you.
me to, appreciate and understand. Like, I do think we suffer as a society. Gooch, we as a society suffer from a literal brain at this point where we almost need everything to be over-explained to a degree where it's not fun, at least, or that, like, maybe some people find that fun and satisfying, but I don't know. You don't need to understand why 1 + 1 = 2 all the time. I know that sounds silly, especially in like a fantastical universe. Like, just go with it a few times. And I think if the writing is strong enough, you're gonna go with it and enjoy it.
And I think that's a lot of Death Stranding too.
Definitely.
I think one thing they improve on this game is Death Stranding 1 is to really explain what the fuck is going on. And there is a lot of there's a lot of moments of exposition in Death Stranding 2, don't get me
Definitely.
wrong. But I feel like with the base of Death Stranding 1, you can play Death Stranding 2 and like not really need a whole bunch more on the world and what the Death Stranding is and the extinction entity and the events. Like it actually like does a lot less heavy exposition dumping on you, but it still does a lot of it. Like the end is a lot. Like the end of Death Stranding 1 is a lot of explanation.
Yes.
The end of 2 is not at all. There's really not a lot. There are some things
There's
that
a bit of it, but
explained to you,
yeah.
but not high Death Stranding concepts.
Well, it's not just
story.
and it's not just
here's who Neil Vanna really is.
Right.
Right. Here's how he connects.
especially with all the little things of showing everyone how they came to be, like Rainey's story and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean,
I think it's much more exciting because
Yeah.
the first one I do think it suffers from, especially after replaying it the first time, of just someone sitting there and talking at Sam. And it's just like, the Death Stranding is the stranding that went stranding above the and I'm like, okay, yes, I get it. Like, just can
Do
we
I
move
get
on
it,
here?
though?
I mean, I actually, yeah, you're right. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
do
I
I
don't
get
get it, but
Right.
if you keep explaining, it's actually not helping. I think, it's brought up all the time. And I think Kojima hits this nail on the head most of the time, but I think in Death Stranding, it's a little overexplained. Fucking Jurassic Park. How did they get the dinosaur blood, Gooch? It was in some amber. It was in the tree. Okay, cool. That's all I need. Kojima, I will give him credit. He can over-explain things sometimes, especially even in this game, and it even still works, and I can still
but he
accept
also
it.
doesn't explain a lot. Like
I think in this one, he does a lot more.
explaining.
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially when it comes to, like, why the Death Stranding happened and
like
stuff.
think about it in terms. Okay, let's think about like the Lucy Neal scenes, and I'm like, there's a lot here that I'm like, he's not really explaining.
Sure,
like in terms
definitely.
of like the functioning of society, because everything seems kind of normal. Neil has a phone.
Right.
At one point, I'm like, there's a lot. I can tell he could probably really over-explain a lot of things going on here, but
Definitely.
he's not.
Right.
Because it's probably really like it's important in a way, but like it's really not.
Well, you can gather it all from context for the most part.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Let's take a lot of steps backwards. Because we just kind of went off.
I mean,
That's
we're just
totally
gonna be all
fine.
over the place
and,
here, yeah.
and I love it. But I wanted to talk about sort of my journey from Death Stranding 1 to Death Stranding 2 and sort of going through this game, especially the beginning, and then start talking about the story and stuff like that. So Death Stranding 1, I played it, I loved it, so much to a point where I went on a solo trip to Iceland, really wanted to see what Kojima saw in that place and why he decided to design a post-apocalyptic world about it. I was kind of disappointed there was not more Iceland in Death Stranding 2. It's a lot of desert
It's a
stuff.
departure from that for sure.
Yeah, and again, this is like a huge nitpick, but I was like, okay, cool, like it's different, but like I like the black sand stuff. Like
It feels
I
part
like,
of its identity for sure.
yes.
And even the beach itself, especially, feels very much modeled after that.
Yeah, and there are a lot of moments where, like, even in Death Stranding 1, there's like where the film director is, like it's red over there, and
Right.
like there are some different places, like the wind farm, like you gave
Right.
an example, and like Death Stranding 2 does the same thing, except the main focus is not those black sand, mossy beach rock
Right.
thing. It's there, but it's not as much, and that's fine. It was just kind of me being a little weirdo about it.
No, and I think that, when you think of Death Stranding, especially the first one, that's core to its identity. You think of like a black sandy beach and like a very kind of bleak, grassland.
Environment, yeah.
Like
Alien.
Open, yeah.
Iceland feels like Death Stranding. It feels otherworldly. It doesn't feel like it belongs.
Right.
And I think that's what the idea going in. So going into Death Stranding 2, like I really kind of like understood what Death Stranding 1 was trying to say about the importance of connection and how fragile it all is, and sort of the necessity for humanity in an evolutionary sense to connect, and like we need one another to survive. Like we as a people, as a species, cannot live alone. Like we're
social
not
beings.
We're not made for it. We're not like other animals who can kind of operate on their own. Like we have to come together to help each other to survive. But it's also like the emotionality of that, and it's just like Sam is the reluctant hero who doesn't want to do any of this shit, and he does it anyway, and he seems to be coming out better on the other side. And Sam in Death Stranding 2 is so much more complex, I think, in 2. He clearly like cares about things. Should we have connected? Should Sam have gone on any of this? Because if he didn't, he certainly wouldn't be in this emotional state that he's in. Sure. He cares, and that's why he's sort of in this place. And I remember when Death Stranding 2 was announced and we saw that tagline, I was like, oh no, it's getting negative. Like it's getting dark. And like, should we have connected? I'm like, oh no, is Kojima going to tell us we were wrong the whole time? No. He actually tells us, yeah, you should have. And it's worth the pain and the adversity to connect and love and care about people, with the ultimate price of like the pain that comes with that, with the loss of somebody or the breaking of connection, whether that be death or like, you know, drifting apart or a breakup, something like that. Do you have something to say? Because I'm going to keep going.
No, keep going.
Okay. So going into Death Stranding 2, I've talked about this on the podcast before, and I'm trying not to beat a dead horse. This will probably be the last time I really mention this. I broke up with my girlfriend. Well, no, my girlfriend broke up with me at the end of May. And then I lost my job 5 days later. So Death Stranding 2 is like a month out. So going into Death Stranding 2, the day it launched, actually, so me and my ex were kind of like conversing, like our breakup wasn't fully broken up. Like we met up a few times, tried to discuss things, try to work it out. Ultimately didn't end up happening. The last day of that was the day Death Stranding 2 launched. So it came here, like I ended up meeting her somewhere. And Death Stranding 2 was downloading, so it ended up kind of being fine. Like I was, you know, like right. Death Stranding 2 is downloading. When I get home, I'm going to come play it. So I leave that meeting with my girlfriend fully broken up, or my ex fully broken up, kind of like entering Death Stranding 2 in like a new era of my life. I'm currently unemployed. I'm trying to like reestablish my entire life, essentially. Like, screw my relationship. Like I don't have a job right now. And I'm you know, I'm closer than I was a few weeks ago, or even when Death Stranding 2 is happening. Hopefully something comes of those soon. But like going into Death Stranding 2 with loss and grief on my mind in not just one aspect, but like two different ways that are much different from each other, but kind of the same, but kind of different. So I enter one with like this, like, okay, like I'm playing Death Stranding 2 in like maybe the best possible way, where I'm like really down. I'm in the lowest point of my life, and I'm going to go on this. Spoilers. I knew Lou dies. They talk about that in the trailers. Like they mention it, and I almost like forgot. And then like Lou dies, and like Sam is grieving through this whole game about like a very physical loss, but like he's dealing
and
with
emotional
it.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. And like I remember the scene like when you first get Doll Man and you first fight that BT, the Skull BT, and you're ready to go to the Placate to go to Australia, and Doll Man says something about like, you know, like you don't have to deal with this now. Like you can like collect yourself, think, and like address this like after we're done.
Right.
And like I mean, it's funny, he was being very therapeutical, yeah. And that's exactly what his role was in this. And like the reveal of like who Doll Man is, and like, and Lou isn't there, but like Sam is like blocking it out and also not blocking it out, because he talks about it sometime with Higgs. You're the one who killed Lou.
Yeah.
But Lou is in the pod, according to him.
Right.
So he at moments he's like blocking that trauma out, and then in moments he's not. Like when you rest, like Lou, it's blacked out. And then Lou is floating around him when he's sleeping. So he's dreaming about Lou. And like there's all like, and I'm like, is Lou dead? Like what is going on? And I found that so interesting. And going through this journey of Death Stranding 2 with my own baggage and my own loss and my own grief, going alongside someone who's also grieving and losing in a totally different way was like very therapeutical for me. And sort of like, cause like I needed to do things to get my mind off of shit. And Sam was doing a big thing to get his mind off of things. Yeah. And he kind of does, but like everyone, like there isn't this moment where someone goes, Lou's dead, Sam, get over it. Like there probably would be in other media. And it doesn't come up until the end where like everyone was like really careful with Sam. Like they didn't want to like reveal it to him. They let him kind of go on with it. And then like, you know, and then he just kind of realizes it. And and
then Lou's just gone.
I love the ways this is a real weird reference, but bear with me. The BB pod looks like one of Shelob's eggs from Lord of the Rings. It's gross. It's like cobwebby
it's all
and
fucked up,
sticky, and it looks like used.
Well, it's
and
like broken.
discarded.
Yeah.
And like he's just been carrying this thing around with him the whole time. And you know, when we see it, we either see Lou in there like doing a little bit,
just being like the regular BB.
Yeah, like from Death Stranding 1, but like a bit different. Because I even felt like am I carrying around like a fake Lou? This is weird.
Yeah. See, all that stuff, like, to me, I was like, well, Lou's dead. He's, like, picturing him in his mind. He's not in the pod.
Yes, I was totally,
like that. I was like,
died.
yeah, Lou's gone. But actually, I didn't think he died. Because, spoiler. I'm sorry.
I do it all the time, too.
Spoilers, like, tomorrow being Lou, I thought that was just known. I thought that was like.
I don't think it was supposed to be hidden.
I don't know if you sang it.
I said it
because I'm like in my mind
Elle
that was already
totally playing
known.
Grown Up Lou.
Right,
That's 100%.
That's
what's
like
happening.
just kind of what I assumed, and then like when the reveal happened, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, okay, you're confirming
but like
what I thought.
And we were talking about it in the Discord, like how we get from A to like F. I think was interesting me. I don't really care. Like, it's not a big deal that I know that Lou is tomorrow. I'm just wondering how the hell we got here.
Right.
Tomorrow's
and I think they
like
do a relatively good job.
Like a newborn baby adult. Like you get her from your first Neil encounter, like from the world of the dead, and you're like, how?
And he's at
why,
the
who?
He's in the APAS place, right? That's what that world of the dead is, right?
Who?
Neil? Yeah. He's in that. That's like where that's the first time he goes to that place. That's where he gets her from, right? Because that's where Fragile leaves her.
No. The way I interpret it is Neil has created his own beach in order to protect Lou, because that's really was his entire focus in his scenes. You know, he loved Lucy. We got to talk about Lucy. Crazy, I think, story with her.
Sure.
Cheated on both Neil and Sam. Is carrying Sam's daughter. You're gonna lie and say it's yours, and he loves her so much that he's willing to sort of like go through the trauma of like kind of going with this lie, and he dies trying to, you know, Lucy gets. We were told by Bridges that Lucy committed suicide. Not true. Bridges kills Lucy.
Yeah.
You see that.
You see that, yeah.
And Neil is also killed trying to protect Lucy and the baby.
Right.
So Neil dies and necrotizes really quickly because he's trying to protect Lou.
Well, he causes,
from Bridges.
Well, and then he causes his body's the void out that destroys.
He makes contact with Sam, and that's when the void out happens. Sam is the only one left alive. He succeeds in keeping Lou safe. And then Bridget Strand sort of starts pulling the strings or Bridget and Amelie, I guess, start pulling the strings to make sure Lou is like under wraps, so nobody knows that like that baby of a repatriate is still alive.
Right.
So the world that when Fragile dies, she kind of has like almost like what Amelie is. Her Ha and her Ka are like separate, and she kind of pretends to be alive even though she isn't, and she just brings Lou to the world of the dead.
Well, I thought it was that her physical body just didn't catch up with it yet. is what I was understanding.
Yes.
Like it's
her
in the
soul
process
left her
of
body
dying.
when the shot hit.
Yeah, so like
she's in this in
so she
between.
has a certain amount of time left until her physical form dies. But that's the other thing. I'm confused, like how, because she leaves Lou on the 8-pass beach. How does then Neil get her?
I don't think Lou is left on the.
She
eight.
is.
Are you sure?
1,000%. That's what she says.
Okay.
She's like, I came across the 4,000. She talks about like the 4,000 souls on the beach. I thought she would be safer with them than if I brought her back or something like that.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, okay, that makes a lot of sense because the people.
Yeah. And then so
Neil must be using that beach to sort of like protect her
Right.
in by using his own trauma, the warscape when he was younger, and some of the missions he went on with his men to kind of like protect her.
because those 4,000 people are the people who died in Neil's void out, right?
No,
That's that city? No.
There was a void out post Death Stranding 1. The Elder was caught into it in the UCA that killed 4,000 people.
And then that's what creates
those
a
4,000 people have what's called a convergence, and they all live on the same beach. Higgs, being left on the beach at the end of Death Stranding 1, finds them after what he states is tens of thousands of years alone, and decides, I'm going to cause some trouble, basically.
Yeah.
So, okay, yes, you're right.
Does that make sense?
Yes, yeah.
Again,
It's a lot to put together.
no, there's a lot of
Yeah.
broad strokes, and this is one of those games I would like to. This is it. I said this in the Discord. I get the events for the most part, but at the timeline of
it's
the
hard
events and
to-
how they all mesh together, and
Yeah.
like, yeah, this idea that Fragile forgot that she left Lou with them, and she realizes once, like, all the memories come back to her once she returns to their beach.
Right. And
And-
Tomorrow has that too of like, I remember our journey together and like
Right.
what we went through. And like, obviously, like it makes sense. She was like birthed when we first found her, like in that cocoon, and like the way she like comes out with like, you know, she's like born in this like protein and like tar, and like they're, you know, like they're like talking about it, and it's like, because like tar is, or that protein is like the what creates life. So
But then she's also an extinction entity.
I think she is. So
That's
yes.
what confused me, because like,
I think that has to do with her being the child of Sam. Sam is connected to an extinction entity from his death in Death Stranding 1 when he was a baby. I think that's how
I
we
see.
get from
Okay,
A
there's,
to
like,
L. You
and
know?
then, but she also has dooms. That's why she can
Tomorrow.
do all. Yeah.
Yes.
That's why she can do all her cool like tar skating and stuff like that.
Yeah.
By the way, sick.
Those scenes are
they're so
fucking
cool.
dope.
Like, again, like-
Every time Tomorrow like was like, okay, let's put the hair back, roll up the sleeves, let's do something cool.
And then it's like, you know what we're gonna do to finish this off, Gooch? We're gonna have a rock off. You get fucking Higgs and fucking Sam are both gonna have 2 electric guitars that shoot electricity, like,
And a flamethrower.
Again, it gets back to the taste thing with him. Like, if you tell that to someone and they aren't, and you aren't fully on board with it yourself, and they don't believe it, someone's gonna be like, "What? That sounds fucking silly.
Stupid,
What? There's
yeah,
gonna be
yeah.
they're gonna be
Ridiculous.
fighting with guitars that shoot flamethrowers, and there's gonna be a big baby or whatever. Like, what? No, he knows it. He knows it's gonna be cool. He knows in his mind's eye that this is gonna come out and look like
Mind's
that.
eye.
Mind's eye. Don't play that. It's just it's so cool, man. And Higgs, he is very much Sam's Joker, and I think you know
Yeah.
that's like. Obviously, with how he looks, I think that invokes
yeah.
it. But even
so
just
you know,
the way
you know
he
he's
talks
supposed
about,
to look like Amelie, right? Her hair.
oh,
she's wearing
interesting.
her
Well, I know
kipu.
the Kipu, but like,
Yeah, the hair is emblematic of hers.
I think I said this when I first saw him. He looks like David Bowie and the Joker to me.
Yeah,
like, you
sort
mix
of like a
them up,
Ziggy
and
Stardust
he's a rocker.
persona. yeah,
So like, and he's even got the shoulder pads.
I love
like the 80s shoulder
I
pads.
love when Dahlman goes like, you know, you fucking reject rocker. Like,
Yeah.
where's the rest of your band?
Yeah.
You know, like
There's some great fucking lines, and even I'll give Troy Baker
dude,
his fucking flowers this year.
two of his best performances back to back between indie and this.
Well, you can just tell he's just loving it. Like he is just
Because
soaking
he
up every
doesn't
scene.
get this kind of material.
it's true.
Joel and Higgs couldn't be more different.
Absolutely.
And I think like I liked Troy as Higgs in the first one, but he really, and he even says it himself in the interviews, like I got a chance to really like be Higgs,
Like to play with
and
it.
I feel like all the characters who come back really are better. I think Fragile, Leah Seydoux as Fragile, like she shines. You can tell, like I think this is like this with any game, movie, when an actor is playing a character for the first time, they're finding their footing too. The second outing, they understand the character a lot more. They can play with it a little bit more, and they can kind of make that character really come to life. And like the way, like the characters in this game are so loving, and like it's not really talked about, and I love how subtle it is. The way Rainy and Tomorrow and Fragile like
They're
really
endearing.
care about each other. And it's not like I hate when people kind of get like weirdly like shippy about shit.
Yeah.
And like they're just three women who really love each other in like the most platonic way you can possibly imagine. And they love Sam, and Sam loves them in his own kind of way. And like, you know, like they're singing and talking, and he comes in, he kind of pokes his head in, and then he walks away. Raindrops keep falling. Like it's so the love and like
The camaraderie.
yeah, but like true love is like comes out in the very little things like this. It's not just the I love yous and like the very overt like ways to display love. It's just this little shit that like Fragile is Tomorrow's mom. Fragile names Tomorrow, and she doesn't know who she is at the time. Tomorrow's in your hands. That's the line, the fucking tagline from the first game. So like that's how I knew Tomorrow is in your hands, literally, through the entirety of the first game. So like the name Tomorrow also bridges motto, which is on that controller, and I forget off the top of my head. You know, to protect and connect for a better tomorrow together. Like, hello, like it, like
hello,
it's beating you in the head, but like it's very well written. The way it's thought about, and it's like it is kind of goofy and kind of silly.
For sure.
The nomenclature is always on the nose,
but that's Kojima.
Yeah. Yeah, and
who's the character who's like a man that's a doll? Like he's a doll. Oh, a doll,
doll
man. Right, yeah. There's also a man who's covered in tar. He lost his hand in a tar pit. I think it's Tar
Trio.
Man.
It's me, Tar Man.
Tar Man. Okay, I do think it's. I've said this to you off camera, and I probably said it on the first Death Stranding. I don't know of any other people, any other creators who bring in like major names like this. And I like this. I don't mean this in a bad way. Like you have Guillermo del Toro come in, and you have someone, and you have his likeness. But then you have someone act as if they were Guillermo del Toro acting as this character. You know, it's like it's an interesting layer that I like.
think people give Kojima a lot of shit for like dipping into his not Hollywood roots, but Hollywood isms now. And he's got Norman, he had Mads, he has Lea Seydoux, he's got Elle Fanning now. Scioli. I mean, that was kind of like inevitably going to happen. She's a Japanese actress.
I'm not going to say Lea Seydoux is like a major Hollywood name, though, or anything like that.
And here's the thing. And then he gets Luca Marinelli, an Italian actor you never fucking heard of. So, like, let's not act like Kojima is just getting the biggest names. Luca Marinelli is in, like, the old guard. He's at a few projects, like, you may have seen, but, like, you haven't. And he plays Neil, that look in his fucking eye.
He's great.
Every time he stares, I'm like, there's so much emotion in that look.
I'm also
like,
going to say
he nails it.
Norman Reedus, he's not like a Hollywood like A-lister.
No, he's not.
Like that's like him choosing him as the guy to base this around really is interesting to me. Like I'm curious what, and it's not that I think he's a bad actor or anything like that. Like it's just I'm wondering like what he saw and was like, no, this is the guy I want to base this around.
I'm sure he's basing it around his performance as Daryl in
and
The
he
Walking
was going to
Dead.
be PT, I guess, right? So that's true.
And I feel like his stoicism is sort of the whole point.
And I get that.
Sam is like a much deeper character than he even remotely lets on. Physically, emotionally, like I think this is very what you would call woke, but I like the way Death Stranding goes about
First
this.
off, ew. Go continue.
Lucy in Death Stranding 1, the reports.
Yeah.
It's basically like talking about their therapy together. She diagnoses Sam as demisexual. Demisexual means he requires a really deep emotional connection to be sexually attracted to somebody. Sure. It's never brought up in game. Yeah. It's in text form, and it's diagnosed by a doctor while she's sleeping with two of her coworkers. So
maybe we should watch out.
Yeah. But she like diagnoses him as that, which makes sense. And I think that as you say that in the game, that makes a lot of sense. But like they don't go, yeah, Sam's demisexual. You know, they don't like
harping on it.
I think there is a great deal of restraint and maturity in like doing that. And like, okay, like I don't not believe in demisexuality. I think there's a ton of different spectrums across the board, but like where I get a little weird is like how hard we label things. And I think Sam just expressing himself as his own way and not being labeled by other people or himself is like real big writing.
Well, and it's also not even something he's like sitting there proclaiming. It's like something he's literally diagnosed with, and it makes sense with how his character has been set up in the way of like he didn't connect with anyone. You can almost say he's like asexual at the beginning of the first game. Like he just has no connection to anyone in any way, be it platonic or sexual. He just wants to be on his own, and you see that growth throughout, and you see this like connection he creates with Fragile, and it's
never really romantic.
No,
I mean,
it kind of is.
They share a kiss at the end because they've been through so much together. It makes sense.
See, I feel like it kind of blossoms into romantic by the end. Like that shows.
But it's not like let's shove it down your throat. You know, it's really mature. It's romantic. It feels deserved, but it's not like they're gonna have sex now.
Right? Sure.
Like they share like a kiss.
Do you think they would if they had the chance? I think so.
Yeah, for sure.
Obviously,
eventually.
like it's just I think
but like that's not what we're talking about.
It's a very big catharsis by the end, and it makes total sense with his character. I will give this game credit. I don't think I've ever seen a kissing scene in a game that doesn't look weird and awkward.
Good, man.
It actually like it looked like they were actually kissing. Like it looked like two people kissing. I was like, oh wow, good job, Kojima.
I would love to kiss Lea Seydoux.
I think I would too.
Lucky
sure,
Norman. Lucky
I would
Norman.
never actually. I have a girlfriend. What am I saying? Never. Would never kiss Lea Seydoux.
Never. She's ugly.
Never. She's disgusting. Ew. No, but she is really fantastic in this, and it is funny. I
God.
like that she.
She's great.
I think she's so much better also because, again, and I know this was the choice of the first game with Sam, I think she was a bit more of a character in the first game in the way of like how she expressed herself and what was going on and what she went through. Sam, again, is much more of a mutant stoic character, and I think that works for what they're trying to get through, but in the first game. But I think Kojima very much recognized that with this second game.
Sam grew.
And he grew, and he's
hugging Deadman, his like best bro, who like invaded his personal space many times in the first game.
Well, and I just think he's more involved in the conversation. Like in the first game, it just felt like he was really much more there to be kind of talked at sometimes. And I like to feel like he's actually kind of involved and actively making these choices and you know, really trying to push himself forward. So I don't know. It was just something I very much appreciate with Sam, and I'll give Norman Reedus a lot of credit. I loved him in this, and you know we've gone through 2 games. Well, I thought they were going to do something at the end here, Gooch. I thought they were going to Red Dead us. I thought we were going to play as tomorrow. In the after,
Yeah.
I was kind of expecting that there for a second. But
I think
I'm fine with that. It didn't, but
yeah, I like the way it leaves off the smoking bits. By the way, god damn it, so fucking cool.
I get why
women smoking long cigarettes is just great.
But also, I get
my
why
mom
you can't.
smoked those cigarettes. That's kind of what it reminds me of. But like, I mean, and Lea Seydoux is French, so and I'm pretty sure they're French.
I just get why we can't have people smoking cigarettes in movies anymore. Just you look too cool. You like, especially if you're a cool looking guy.
He's on record. Mads was smoking outside, so I made smoking a part of his thing. You know, like and like you know, and like I'm sure
and those
Lea
scenes
smokes. She's fucking French. I'm sure she smokes.
Those scenes when he did like appears in his mouth in the first game is so good. Like
yeah.
like it materializes.
It's so cool, but. Yeah, I didn't like. I really liked Tarman. Like, you know, he's George Miller, right?
Right. Yeah.
George Miller.
Mad Max. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a Mad Max fan.
Okay. I for some reason, you know what I was thinking? I think I'm thinking of like Frank Miller and like Mark Millar. Like I'm like no.
There
that's
are some Millers. Yeah.
Yeah, and like George Miller apparently birds watches, so that's why he has the binoculars, and it says in his bio like he likes to do that, and like we'll get to Die Hardman spoilers. We didn't even talk about Charlie yet, but Higgs. Troy Baker is a musician. They implemented that into the character a little bit. And you can see Kojima, like, and same with Die Hardman. Well, and I want to get to him to talk about him as a whole, but like, you know, meeting the crew and like understanding like who Tarman is and why he's doing this and Dollman and like I like the little bit of Faith Atkins, the director, who he looks like and like why he's a doll, and it's like he kind of is like, I just want to die. Like I need to like get out of this and like move on and be with my daughter who like we tried to like connect.
Why is he stuck in the doll?
Because he's a spirit medium,
right.
He like gets trapped in it trying to push her out of it. She gets into it because she's
Her d-
clinging to the real world because of her mom, and he pushes her out
But
into the
hers-
afterlife.
I see.
And he gets stuck in the doll. So now he needs to get pushed out so he can go to the afterlife and be with his family. Which
They
is
don't ever
fucked up.
explain why he's in 30 frames, though, right? That's never.
No,
Yeah,
there doesn't need to be an explanation.
No, there does. No,
truly.
no.
It's just cool.
But to be honest,
It works.
knowing Kojima, I could see him putting that in there for some reason.
I'm sure it's
his
like
connection to the physical world is slow,
Hey,
like some.
Into the Spider-Verse was cool. Like we should do
No,
this.
I'm sure
Yeah,
that's it.
yeah.
I could see Kojima actually giving a physical
An
reasoning to it.
explanation.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's talk about the Magellan. Like I love how you have like different kind of private rooms. Negative, I kind of miss I can't zoom at Norman's crotch and get the. I wonder why they took that out.
I kind of don't understand. I love the Magellan.
Yeah.
I kind of wish I could walk around it. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know. I kind of wish I could, like,
Sure.
just explore it a little bit. I wish
Right.
I could just walk to that room and go
Talk
do my
to
stuff.
Rainey and tomorrow.
Or
and-
if I just want to do the shooting gallery, I just walk over to the shooting gallery. Like, he did this in the first one, too. I don't know why he has, like, his hub rooms like this where you can't.
yeah,
Where it's
we
very
get
much
an
you just look
MGS5.
around and interact by pressing A. So I don't know. I'm curious as to why
Maybe
he
it's
does that.
just a style choice.
And no, I'm sure it is. I'd be curious if there is like a gameplay reasoning to him.
Because like think about it. It's really like what if the other way would you be saying the opposite? Because it's like all you're doing is walking across the hall. That's like not
I mean,
that
I don't
big.
know. I don't think I would. I think I'd be like, yeah, I can explore the Magellan. You know, like I feel like I'm trying to think of another thing. There's like a weird house area in Hitman. Actually, it's for one of the modes where it's like your home area.
It's for
I can't remember what you know what I'm talking about though.
yeah,
the like side game mode. The
shit. I'm gonna get killed for not remembering this. One of my streamers I watch plays it. Not contracts, not escalation.
something like that.
Oh Jesus Christ.
Anyways,
Continue.
I think it just would have been cool to be able to kind of freelancer.
There
It
we
would have been
go.
cool to kind of explore around the Magellan. It would have been cool to kind of just look at it, even if like by the end I only look at it a few times, then I just stay in my room most of the time and interact with that stuff. Sure, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
You read the books, I assume.
A little bit. I read the first one where you get
it's kinda like
Tarman's.
the Moby Dick reference with like MGS5. I was like, well, there's a lot of Moby Dick with Tarman.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I mean, you're not really as much
kind
reading
of
them
reminds
as
me of
much
Kojima
as
production.
it's more Dollman just telling you about each story whenever you pick it up. But still, I think that whole lead up to Tarman's story and him telling you about his son and how he loses his hand and all that.
Yeah.
Again,
my
the
hand's
Magellan,
lost in the tar.
the Magellan crew in general, and just having your home team like that is a huge step.
And
for me.
and think about it in Death Stranding 1, where you are out there alone.
Yeah. You're just
You
on your-
have Die Hardman, of course, barking orders at you.
right.
And you're meeting up with Lochna and
Hartman,
eventually
Deadman,
Malignant.
sure.
Yeah, you're linking up with them, but these people are actually traveling with
Like
you.
they're your home team. You're
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
They're your crew.
It like really feels like again, like Sam has people in his corner, and they're physically with you. Unlike last time,
Right.
where everyone was coming to you through the chirogram, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, I love when Fragile during the Rainy thing, and we can talk about her next, and like she says to Rainy, like. Talking through chiograms is great, but nothing beats a hug. Like I'm like, oh, it's so cute. Rainy's story was really cool too about this. Like she has this, it's sort of like this double-edged sword where like her time fall is bad, but as you get closer to her,
in like the eye of the storm, it
it's-
reverses it actually.
yeah,
right?
and that's how she heals Fragile. And like she's going to be she is going to help terraform Australia. And I'm like, that's so cool. And I love Shioli Katsuna because I would say she's probably the most famous Japanese American actor. She's not American, but she's been in like Deadpool. And I think a lot of people would know her.
Oh,
from
she
that.
Kimiko?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
And she does exactly. Bye, Sam.
I do. That's funny. I didn't even think about that. Wow.
Yeah. So she's Japanese, but it's funny because she has an Australian accent. I think if you speak English in Japan, the first reference point is Australia for English speakers. So I think
Interesting.
I don't know.
Is it not that she's just in Australia?
I don't know if maybe she lived there, but she has an Australian accent when she speaks English.
Right, but
if you
like,
notice.
isn't that because she's living in like her character's living in Australia?
No, it's 'cause
it's
she
even in real
actually
life
talks
though.
like
Like
that.
that's how she talks.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I just found it interesting.
I didn't really notice that she had an Australian accent
in real life or in the game.
in the game.
Yeah, it's both.
I need to listen. It sounded like she
comes
just has like
in and out because clearly she's bilingual. So I
interesting.
feel like her accents are kind of like blended a little bit, and maybe she's like Maybe, I mean, I don't know. I would have to listen to them back to back, but she does have an Australian accent, but it's subtle
Interesting.
because again, English is her second language.
And then she is a Doom sufferer as well.
Yes.
So everyone with Dooms just has random weird superpowers, right? Is that kind of the idea?
Yes.
Okay.
And
that are related to
I
the
like
Death
how
Stranding.
they mention, I'm sure this is like a lie and also a truth. So Sam's dooms goes up, so he doesn't need BB to detect BTs. But then again, Dollman is
said he's been doing it, right? Like
yeah.
throughout the game.
So, but maybe it's because he's not on his A games. His dooms isn't working correctly. I could believe that.
Maybe.
He's in such a shitty mind state that he can't use his abilities, like just like Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
You know?
We all get performance issues sometimes, Gooch.
Yeah.
That's the way it works.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know, because that's a weird little double entendre.
So let's talk about APAS, Charlie, the president, that whole thing. Charlie, from the beginning, I was like, who the fuck is he hiding? Who is this? You know, like, because at first it's like, I like the idea that like Jawbridge is sort of like this like pretty much doing the UCA's work without the government backing.
It's like an international organization.
And
like a
you
trade
were talking about colonialism earlier. And like, you know, the president is talking to Sam and the rest of the Drawbridge crew. And like the idea of this is like, it needs to be disconnected from the UCA because then it looks like the UCA is taking over other countries.
Right. Like
and
that's not what this is about. This is about us just connecting the countries.
And even at the end, that's kind of true. It doesn't really seem like that's actually what APAS 4000's goal is. And APAC, their goal is not for the UCA to usurp these other countries. It's so that like they can create this like brain dead society that is sort of like,
well, it's like almost APAS is gonna usurp everything and just kind of be the humanity's steward for our brain dead souls.
And the no void out policy, and like humanity is essentially evolves to a point where it like doesn't need to move. There's a great line that Die Hardman has about humanity's need to move, and like APAS is sort of taking human free will away
just to protect us.
And like you evolve into this like AI like state, but
the whole whole storyline was interesting to me. They were, the president was obviously the bad guy. Like,
right? You're like, who the fuck?
Like when he's
the president?
Like, and then he's like, I think someone's doing some bad things while he's like twirling his mustache. Like,
Sam, let's have a private conversation.
Yeah, on my weird line that where I'm glowing red. Like it's like I think you might be the bad guy. Yeah. But so APAS is like this organization within the government that's like kind of subverting the U.S. government to then take over humanity, like we're saying.
Take over humanity, but first we're going to take over the portering business. We're going to make it easier. It's going to be automated. We don't need people to do it.
No one's ever going to have to go anywhere.
This system is in place to make your lives easier and to get rid of human connection. And that's why they brought portering back in the first place, because they thought humanity needed that human connection. They don't just need robots sending people out. There's a necessity for a man or a woman to deliver a package to connect people.
Right. And I do think there is this interesting idea where it's like, I don't think he's doing it. They're not doing it. They have to sever connections in order to avoid void outs. That's it. That's the policy. We can't have humanity go extinct.
Yeah.
No more the zero. It's almost like the zero.
It's called the zero void out policy.
It's like this. I don't think there was a zero COVID policy, but there was something like there are a lot of things
contact to avoid void outs.
Avoid the spread. Yeah, and all that stuff. So like again, there are parallels to.
I'm sure it's a COVID parallel.
100%.
I'm sure it is.
And yeah, I do think it's funny. The APAS thing is kind of introduced and then revealed and then like thrown away almost immediately. Like
it's even really matter. Exactly what it's supposed to do, because it's the APAS system. We got to talk about the progression system because I really loved it.
I loved it until it didn't matter.
It did not matter
after a certain point. Just because you filled up everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But yeah, like okay, so like Charlie is like this dummy, like this this test dummy looking guy, and he's like. He is the ship's benefactor. He's fronting this money, but we don't know where the money coming from. The president doesn't know. Fragile doesn't know. Tarman knows, but nobody else knows.
But do we know he knows at this point?
Tarman?
At the beginning? Yeah,
no,
right.
No,
that's what I thought.
We get revealed that him and Die Hardman are good buddies, and
Die Hardman's vehicle.
I love how he like the look to the
He just
look to the
begins to
camera.
explain it to you. Yeah,
and
he's like, this is why.
And he's like, you were probably thinking, DHV Magellan. Well,
That's funny.
you were right. It's Die Hardman's
He's like, let me spell it
vessel.
out for you. Die Hardman's vessel.
It's like, no, I didn't think that once, but I knew you were in the game somewhere.
I assume so too. Yeah.
Like picking the voice. I love how I don't know if you in the beginning, real quick, with non-choices, when Fragile asks you to go and you can decline, it just sends you back and you do it again, and then it sends you back, and then Sam's like, no, like
that was actually very funny because it sends you all the way back to the beginning to walk again, and I'm like, no.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But like the picking the voice of Charlie, is like one of those choices where like I thought it was between Deadman and Die Hardman, but I didn't know Deadman isn't a choice either. And it's like, well, Hartman's going to be here. You can't pick him. Lochna, yeah, you can't pick her. And Deadman also is like, okay, well, he's dead, but he'll be back. Actually, do you know at that point?
I don't think you know at that point yet.
Right, yeah.
Dead,
we got to talk about Deadman, too. So much to talk about. But yeah, and then like, oh, well, of course it has to be Die Hardman because that was his role in the first game. So they're kind of like calling back and like, he does the exact same thing. And I would love to hear what Tommy Earl Jenkins has to say about like being front in the marketing of Death Stranding 1 to them being in Death Stranding 2, but having like a totally opposite role. And it's like, you're the same role, but like nobody knows you're in the game. You're not in any of the marketing material. You're in the intro credits, but like
you said, I was like, he's got to show up.
Yeah.
But like in what regard? And it was funny not seeing Lochna at all. I'm assuming
they rescanned her. They had to have.
Well, and
they had her model in the game.
I'm assuming it was scheduling stuff. She's so busy right now, and
I know
I'm
Margaret
guessing
Qualley is only blown up since Death Stranding.
Absolutely,
because Death Stranding 1 made her
put her on the
career.
map.
Yeah,
Obviously.
absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah, that was probably my only little disappointment. Hartman, it was great to see again, and even Deadman,
with like without her actually being there, I thought it was fine.
The way they used Deadman, I thought was great. I was like, oh man, that kind of is sad,
dude.
But it was a nice little moment.
I was so bummed. Like I love how like in Death Stranding 1, nobody really dies. Even Higgs we don't see die. But in 1, Deadman dead for now. Lou dead for now. Like they're kind of like taking people off the board. And I know they kind of take it back, but I think the way they bring those characters back, Deadman is still dead. Like he actually didn't come back. He's just using his ha because this is that world.
And I like his journey of like that was another thing I picked up much more on the first time, the second time around of like, he didn't think he had, is the Ka the soul? I get them mixed up. He didn't
Ha is the physical form, Ka is the soul.
So like he didn't think he had a Ka, and he didn't think there was anything waiting for him after when he dies. Like it was just the end. And I like this idea that now we found his beach. He does have a beach. And there is something in this game that I think is an interesting concept, how like, and I've been using this word a lot, but like how like ethereal the connections are in the way of like in the first game or even the second game. Fragile's like, I had to jump, but I can only take equipment with me. And I can't think of like it's just if it's what she thinks of as equipment.
It's beautiful.
Like it's like, and I can't think of Lou as equipment. And like, but if she could like,
she had to disconnect in order to save her,
and you can't do that. Like, or it's just what you think of something like. I know this is this is equipment. Like that's just in my mind. But like, if I in my mind's eye again, if I think about it as like a real thing, that's something I care about, and I develop that connection, it's no longer equipment. Like it's.
Deadman goes through that process in the first game where like it's a BB unit, fucking trash the thing, and Sam like I think goes along with it, but he's like no,
like the value of something is very much what you put on it in a weird. It's just an interesting concept to me. Like I don't know, I like it a lot. You know what I mean? Like I don't know.
Yeah. I love Deadman coming back as not only like in Die Hardman's body during the 3 minutes he's not alive. I love how they bring the 20-minute syndrome into more characters.
Yeah,
Nicholas Winding Refn's whole family is in this game. The metagenomicist, the chronobiologist, and the hydrologist are his wife and his 2 daughters.
That's so funny.
Yeah, and like I love like all the people like the musicians. Jen Hashino, I think is his name, is the musician. I think. I mean, he's
Churches is obviously there.
Yeah, Churches is there this time, and like Death Stranding comes back in the end, and Nightmares is in this game. The taking of the Private Room playlist and making it like a music playlist is awesome.
Thank God.
Like I think it makes delivering packages a bit like less monotonous if it's
Definitely.
getting monotonous
Yeah,
for you with
yeah.
the music and Wood Kid. Oh my God. I didn't think it could get better than incorporating Low Roar into the game, but having Wood Kid make all these songs for Death Stranding 2.
His vibe fits perfectly.
Oh my God. I almost found it a little bit disrespectful that they put a Silence for the Feelings in some of those Low Roar songs because they're so thematic with the other game. I mean, I'll Keep Coming isn't in there, Bones, but like there are some other songs like Patience and Don't Be Serious is not in this, but like Silence for the Feeling when you're going to Port Knot, like that moment really hits. And but they still like do a great job of like bringing in other songs and like it's new stuff and it's old stuff and it's Wood Kid and Ludwig Forzel's score is fucking fantastic too. Like all the music is
So Wood Kid,
so well done.
I didn't.
We knew him.
Am I mistaken in that he did
Iron.
Revelations?
Yes.
Yeah, that's that
where
song.
that's where I know
That's
him
what I
from.
thought so because I was like, oh shit, it is this guy.
Same guy.
No, I think
He's got an old tie to games.
his musical cues are fantastic. I do think that there are more in Death Stranding 1, and there are a bit more interesting. There are some times when you're coming over
it's
things
like-
and it raises up, and like I wish that happened a bit more often in this one, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't think all the music cues hit as hard, like out in the world, but the songs that are in the cutscenes, like To the Wilder and the song Caroline Polachek did on the beach, like when you enter the plate gate. Oh my, like dude, I'm like, this is so good.
I did find there to be a lot more upbeat songs too.
Yes, because I think this is a more upbeat game.
Yeah,
I mean, even though it's also very depressing at the
definitely
same time.
But yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the tone is different, and I think he needed Wood Kid. He needed to bring another artist in to emblemize that tone in the song that plays when like you're seeing, Tomorrow get taken to the world of the afterlife, and like she's burned in the cocoon. Like that song, like you got to read the lyrics. They're like Minus 61 is all about loss. Like the whole thing.
That's one of my
To the
favorites.
Wilder is like sort of like you're entering like an unknown, and like you kind of don't know what's like on the other side of it, but you have to take the path that maybe you haven't been walking, and like all the songs are all about this. Like again, like as I'm thinking my own state of life, those Kobe Abe, I think that's how you say his name, quotes at the end. I like took screenshots and I'm like, holy shit, they're powerful.
Well, they
stuff.
almost sound, especially the Wood Kid stuff, like, and this might sound silly, but almost like religious, like hymn, like almost like
his singing style is
it's
very
very good.
Yeah, like it's different.
Even those moments where I'm just on the monorail and I'm just waiting, I'm taking it down to South Knot and it's playing and I'm looking out over the ocean and it's like, it hits. It does. They are very moody tracks that I think, just help, emphasize the game.
I was watching like some TikToks because I love seeing like people I don't know kind of react and like what they're taking out of this because it's like really special, obviously. And the guy was kind of like talking about how like, the game isn't about delivering packages. It's about like carrying like emotions. I was like, whoa. Yeah, dude, it is. That's
Well,
like it's like it like, and I think that's kind of what like the goofiness about the game. It's like you're delivering packages, but like it's not about that. It's really not about that. It's kind of like the vehicle in which Kojima uses to deliver all these themes and thematics. I got those quotes up because I got to read them. So there's two. Though the future is a product of every present that precedes it, tomorrow does not belong to today. And then the other one is to live and imagine ourselves in the future. And there we inevitably arrive, yet our place in said future may not be the one we envision. So like as I'm, trying to find a new job, like gonna have a new relationship someday, like I didn't imagine my life would be like this 3 months ago. So you're kind of, like it really spoke to me. And yeah, I feel like in Death Stranding, it's like, is Death Stranding 3, whenever that happens, if it happens, are we going to play as tomorrow?
Right.
Like, and we're going to be in a totally different world that we never would have envisioned for Death Stranding. Like, there's so much there.
I do think it's rare in video games, even to get stories like this, and
Yeah.
you know, in the way of just like how thematic they are, and you know, some of it's going to go over some people's heads, and I think some
it's
people
tough
are
to
going
grasp, but
some people are going to get more out of it than others, and that's just part of life. But I think specifically when it comes to a game like this, it's just something you don't see very often. And I would even put it in the likes of like a Red Dead, and even just I really do enjoy even Kingdom Come Deliverance's story. Again, those games aren't as like, what's the theme? Maybe theme heavy, or what's the word? Like metaphor heavy. I think, you know, Kojima likes his metaphors for sure.
Oh yeah.
Whereas like, you know, a Red Dead's a bit more straightforward, but it very much has its themes to think about.
Yeah, it's a normal narrative.
Right. Yeah. Like whereas this is
Death Stranding is very much not normal.
It's going in a bunch of different places, and you know, again, you're gonna take out of it what you will, but it's enough there to make you think and to make you really consider. And by the end, I had a tear in my eye, Gooch, and I'm like, I don't necessarily know what I'm crying about, but like,
it's
it just
beautiful.
invokes a feeling.
It's
it really
so
does.
beautiful. We were talking about Die Hardman and him kind of showing up and like the way he does when we're getting here's the exposition dump about APAC and APAS, and I'm like, you know, like I'm like, I don't know if I get it. Slow down.
Exactly. And I'm like, and it does. I will say the explanation by APAS does sound terrifying. Like I was just like, this sounds awful.
Yeah. Alistair
And he's
Duncan
doing it to save you.
Alistair Duncan, by the way, Mimir.
Oh, he is.
That's who that actor is.
Dude, he was great.
Yeah,
he was great.
Good role.
Yeah.
I mean, small role, but
Yeah.
good role. And and then they're like on the beach, and like, you know, Charlie's like, you can't stop us, and
he just rises from the tar.
sun. And you know, Tommy Earl Jenkins has a ballet and a dancing background, and I'm like, there you go.
Was that him singing too?
Yeah,
I thought so.
Yeah. So and like, so he's like Charlie, and he's, you know, he's singing BB's theme. This is where it comes back. By Jenny Plant and Ludwig Forzel did that for the first game.
Go check out Gooch's interview with Jenny Plant.
Yeah. I would like to talk to her again. So she is in Europe, unfortunately. She is singing BB's theme live for the first time.
That's awesome.
On these
That's very cool.
Death Stranding concerts. I'm like, can you like come to Newark and do it, please?
Which one are we doing in December again? Or which one's the one?
The Newark.
But what's the concert again? I'm forgetting.
Strand World Tours, Worlds of Strand.
It is the Death
Strand.
Okay, yeah. They're doing a Witcher one in December too. That I kind of was. So I was thinking about going with Tamira as maybe if you're. Yeah, I was gonna say I'll let you know.
Dude, there's a lot of concerts. There's the PlayStation concert that's coming up.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, I mean,
I'd love to go see some live music like that.
We should talk about that because like I'm like, dude, there's a lot of like video game centric concerts.
They're doing. I saw them mention it on Sacred Symbols. Quick sidebar. Some like Ghost of Tsushima like movie like inspiration movies that like what are they called again?
Shit.
They're like a movie house.
Oh, art house.
Yeah, they're like at the.
Are they doing that around here?
I don't know. I don't think we have any of the like restaurants around here. I can't remember what they're
Alamo.
called. Alamo Draft House. Yeah. But they're doing like Kurosawa films.
Yeah. So to see Die Hardman pop up and you're like, what the fuck is going on? And like I know what's going on. I'm like, oh, it's Die Hardman. Like finally, like he's coming out of his shell, and then you know he like wakes Sam up, and then fucking the president. He's like, what the hell is going on? Like, you know, and like Die Hardman's like, I've been one step ahead of you this whole time.
Yeah,
Die Hardman's vessel.
Yeah, he's like, hey, Pass, you're already fucked.
The drawbridge Cupid, like disconnect, like you know, like fuck A-Pass. Like
that effect when A-Pass like turned into this weird like mismatched hologram. It's like scary. It's cool. Like I've never seen like it's like all pixels like spread out, and he's like almost like it's cool. It was very cool.
Yeah.
And then he just sends him away. It's good.
Yeah. I love how like they deal with that, and it's like done.
It was listen. It was an interesting choice that I wasn't expecting. I'm like, oh, how are they gonna handle this? And Die Hardman just comes in and goes, no, idiot. Yeah, bye.
I've been funding Drawbridge. So like the UCA, like I'm not president of the UCA, and like I took a step background, but I took a step into the background, and even Die Hardman seems like he's come a long way. I mean, the last time we saw him, he was like on his knees crying to Sam, and like, you know, about his past, and he's like, you know, I don't die hard, you know, I am Die Hardman, you know, I don't just go away, you know, when he first comes back, hey Sam, and he's got a big smile on his face, and he's like he seems like he's come a long way, and you know, I remember when Sam like. He's president, and he's like, I don't think you fucking get any of this or what just happened. Like, life is pretty fucking fragile right now, and you got to understand that, like, I don't think, like, you're not immortal because you're a president. Like, this position of power you're in, like, don't use it how you think you're going to use it. Like, you need to approach this differently. I love how in the beginning, Die Hardman was like the shortest turned president in the U.S. history, and they make it seem like he like sucks,
kind of left in shame almost.
But it seems like he kind of stepped away to go into the background to fund Drawbridge and to get Drawbridge.
And he saw
connecting the world,
and he saw APAS like doing their thing, and I think he took a step back to kind of just make sure things were going the way he needed to.
I also like the use of Amelie. I like how kind of like more so Margaret Qualley, like her being there but no words, but like she's there as like Sam is like thinking about her.
He even gets to hug her. Like I guess like that is her. I'm assuming, right? Just to say goodbye. I would assume. Like obviously,
but again, because she is trapped on her beach.
Yeah.
Where she left Higgs. I want to talk about Higgs, not to expound on him more, but like the reason why he's a villain, I think, is like so simple, and I think in this point in time so effective. He is lonely. Period. That's it. It's not because he wants to rule the world or do some diabolical shit. He wants to make people pay, and he's lonely.
Well, that's if you have no connections, you have no one that you care about in the world. You don't care if it continues.
And I think that's so prevalent and relevant in our current society, where I mean, male loneliness is like at an all-time high.
I mean, socialization in general is hugely down.
Right. So I think Higgs is emblematic of this loneliness that people experience. That I think Kojima experienced as well. He talks about being lonely a lot, and in the past and in the present. And Sam and Fragile put me here. I'm gonna make their lives miserable. And APAS sees the opportunity to
use that,
give the Drawbridge a common enemy. Everyone is talking about the Ghost Mechs and Higgs. They're all scared of Higgs. They give the player and the characters in the game an enemy and a common enemy to fight against.
A little manufactured consent, Gooch. Again, like that is very much a Kojima. Wow, government would never do that. Give us a fake enemy to all rally against so that we all are together on an issue. That's so. Again. Great stuff.
Yeah, and the way he goes out and the fight and like how like Big Baby Lou smashes him and even the times where like Tomorrow fights him and where he fucking is torturing Sam and you repatriate like 5 times and like he's burning you alive and the way they come in and they're like there's this like it's so genuine, like this moment of like where they save Sam. And I didn't expect like Higgs to be like a robot. I was like, oh.
Yeah, I didn't really understand.
So he's been on the beach this whole time.
Right.
He's
just
like not alive.
He's doing basically what Dead Man's doing, where he's controlling these things, right?
Yeah, the Ghost Mechs.
They're creating these ghosts. They're Ghost Mechs, but they also have, I guess they have to be biomechanical to a degree so that you can inhabit them.
Yeah, so from the beginning when we fight the octopus one, it's like it doesn't have a engine. Like there's no way this could be running. So at first I'm like, oh, it's connected to the beach somehow. Like I immediately knew that, like obviously, but like how exactly?
Of course.
It was connected through APAS and through Higgs, and he was the one controlling all this shit. And I'm like, I knew the cult was Higgs related, and I'm like, he's like worshiping Amelie, and I like how they don't really focus on that, but he's clearly obsessed with Amelie. He's here because of her.
Well, and I like the idea of him just being like, she chose you. Like, that's the ultimate other thing of just like, this wasn't how it was supposed to go.
Yeah, and he's coming out of coffins. And did you sleep near a coffin board?
No.
So if you sleep near it, there's a scene where he gets out of it, and he like a tentacle, like he picks Sam up and like he like saying something to him, and like a tentacle like comes out of their mouths and they like make out. It's really weird. It's really
sounds
strange.
Very Kojima.
And I'm like, what the fuck was that?
What like when you took a break and like
so
slept?
Get a coffin board, go out somewhere and sleep next to it.
Gotcha. Like take a rest and then sleep. Yeah, like while you're resting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But yeah, Higgs was great. I felt like he filled his role of like the antagonist, like you're in like a fake antagonist.
He is the nega Sam, Gooch.
Yeah,
he is
the nega chin.
the reverse Sam, if you will. Like that's the thing, and again, it gets back to he is the Joker. He is his. He
antithesis.
He is the opposite to his coin, and I like that. I do. Yeah. I think it works very well, and I think they very much close the book on him in this, I would assume.
Yeah, but I mean, it seems like, in my opinion, like the game ends with Tomorrow and Sam like I'm your Luis. And like, and like Sam again, not hugs her, but not crying, super emotional. Like, we see that scene where he like comes to terms with Lou being dead, and like like really for the first time, like really grasping it, and him crying because it's like, where's Lou?
And then he cries for Fragile too, right? Doesn't he get very upset after that?
Yeah,
After he realizes
yeah.
she dies. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that was sad for me. I was like, oh no. I like her hands, by the way, are Lou.
Oh,
And
is that what it's supposed to be?
Yeah, yeah. They're supposed to be. It's Lou. But they are normal hands at the end.
I was yeah, I did notice that.
I don't but are they her time-falled hands? Because they're old. I'm curious what that. Yeah,
that's something again. I feel like that's more symbolic. I'm assuming
I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like they were just because they are. I know but they're robot hands, right?
no. So there's a corpus thing about it, and it's like they're connected to the beach, but there's like not a lot of information on it.
Huh. Interesting.
Let's talk about the corpus. What'd you think of that? Because a lot of terms being thrown, a lot of little stuff, a lot of big stuff, like, and now there's a codex, a corpus for you to go look all that stuff up. And I don't know how we got through the first game without it.
I was literally funnily enough, I barely used it, Gooch.
Really? You didn't look at it?
Because I think the game did a pretty good job of giving me the information that I needed to know, like, throughout the game. I think in the first game that would have been monumentally helpful. And I still think it's helpful now, don't get me wrong. I just didn't feel the need to look into it because I felt informed enough by the game itself as I was playing. Every once in a while I did pull it out, and like I do like the story so far thing where it would update people as you would do things for them, and like the entry would fill out.
Yeah, that happened with Lou a lot because you were getting a lot of exposition about Lou and how exactly Lou got into, being BB-28 and all the shit behind the scenes that like Bridget and Amelie were doing.
So, and the idea was that the chiral network was built off these original BBs.
Yes.
But the original thought process was that they were only going to need one BB to build the whole chiral network off of, which would have been Lou.
Lou, yes.
And why don't they do that again? Because Lou gets away. They
hide
lose. That's what happens.
Lou.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, they lose it.
And Amelie hides him, or hides her.
I think Bridget and Amelie. I
Yeah.
think you can pretend they're both the same person.
That's
they're,
kind of
they're
as
both.
yeah.
Because Sam is different. Like,
Yeah.
they both care about Sam a lot. And like the idea of like using Sam's kid to like power this network, we'll just use a bunch of other brain dead moms BTs, which is where Neil comes in.
But wait, Sam's not a BB?
He was. I think he originally was.
So then how is he a...
I don't think he's actually a BB because he gets let out of his pod. But like I think
Right, but he was a BB. So like that's what... So he would have been a BB before...
He was like... Yeah, because Lou is BB00.
Right.
But I kind of thought Sam, when Sam was born, like the ideas for BB, because BB is older than Bridges.
What they use, yeah, sure.
So like maybe they use that technology because, not Lucy, Lisa, Sam's mom, Cliff's wife, was in that brain dead state. They took Sam out to probably, help him grow and not be in his dying mom's womb. And then like they kind of use that tech to do that, but maybe he wasn't a bridge baby, but he kind of was.
So that's
in a
the
way.
only thing that's confused
Like
me a little bit. Yeah.
Almost like a proto
big
bridge.
thing, Gooch, in the first game for me, where I was like, "Oh, these are Sam's memories."
I didn't catch on to that either.
I didn't. I was like, "Oh, fuck!" I didn't even think about that.
So in this, when you come up, you're seeing
Neil's sometimes, right?
Yeah, you're seeing Neil's and Tomorrow's.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
If I recall, what scenes you're seeing?
But then also Dollman's seeing them too, right? Because he's connected to
you,
he's
like, what the fuck was that? And he's like, nothing new.
A lot less of them in this one. In the first game, you're seeing them a lot as you come up.
Yeah, and randomly.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of different kind of ones. And but yeah, I think we're getting close to the end here. But let Neil and Lucy. I love how the story doesn't frame Lucy as a bad guy. Yeah, she's a therapist and she's having sexual relations with her clients. And she's cheating on both of them.
Right.
Like, but they don't paint her as a bad guy. I kind of like that. It just felt different.
Yeah, I mean, she's human. I get that.
Right.
And there's definitely part of that in the idea that Sam loved her still and kind of forgave her.
I love seeing younger Sam, by the way.
Yeah, that was
like
cool.
a normal Bridges employee.
Yeah. I don't know. I will say the whole Neil Vana story was probably the weakest element for me. Just because I didn't feel that locked into it. I didn't really kind of understand until the end. And I was like, oh, Lisa was Sam's
Lucy.
No, I'm sorry. Lisa was with Sam, and he was the other guy that he had Lou with. Or I'm sorry,
Lucy. Lisa is
Lisa's.
Lucy.
Sorry, I'm confused. Who is Lisa?
Lisa is Cliff's wife.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Lucy is Sam's girlfriend.
And Lou's mother.
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
Who is Tomorrow.
Right.
Played by
We're
Elle
here.
Fanning.
All right, we got there. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that whole kind of storyline was definitely the element to me that I cared the least about. And once I just finally got the information on, I was like, oh, I get it.
Yeah,
You know?
it definitely doesn't play as big as a role as I think Cliff's
Definitely.
moments do, but
Yeah.
I think it why is Neil fighting Sam? Because Neil is protecting Lou, but I don't think Neil knows what Sam looks like.
That's why I don't know. I don't think he realizes he's Sam.
Right.
Yeah.
And I like how when they first encounter him and he says his name, but he kind of mumbles it, and Damon's like, "Oh, Nirvana," and like Nirvana has to do with this this state of being, like there's a corpus.
It's a state of bliss. Yeah, like it's like Nirvana. Yeah.
Yeah, and it kind of plays into the themes of Neil, but I like how like his battlefields are like his trauma.
Yeah.
Like they're not they are battles he fought, but he's clearly really fucked up by what he's doing.
And what he did, and when he didn't save Lisa or Lucy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's clearly traumatized, but I like the scenes cuz like I feel like they were like a really different kind of moment. Like we literally slowed down and like, all right, we're going to watch this now. And it's like very contextually different from like everything else we're watching.
Right.
Yeah, and to see like the moment of when that facility, that satellite facility, that it's near Central Knot, but it's not Central Knot. But a lot of people die, and to see that happen and what exactly happened, and it's the fact that Bridges is so evil. And again, they never really like Bridges is evil. Like they just show that Bridges is not really good.
Kind of shitty. Yeah.
And then even in the first game, that's that way. And they still continue to do that. And it's like, again, it's kind of like your government is like holding this shit together, but they're not necessarily the good guys.
Of course.
Never get that twisted.
It was very cool seeing. So that flashback was when the first Death Stranding happened, right? When he's young, when Neil doesn't save Lucy. Was that the original event that we are seeing?
That is the moment. So that is the moment that Sam disconnects from Bridges. That void out happens. Everyone,
When Neil's a child.
Oh,
that when he doesn't save Lucy and he burns his hand, like he gets the burn.
Yes.
I thought
the Death Stranding, I think it just occurred.
And like they're in a city and like you see all the gigantic BTs. Like it's cool seeing like it actually unfold like that, I gotta say.
Yeah. Yeah, we never really seen that far back. Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. I thought you were talking about...
How long after are we here?
After what?
After the Death Stranding, like the initial event?
It's got to be within 30 years.
That's what I was thinking. It's like a relatively...
It's not like 2 million years ago.
Right.
Yeah. Because, like, okay, that void... So, and it's interesting to think, like, Sam is being treated for his aphanphosphobia and, like, and what he's dealing with. And, like, that's why he's in therapy, which is pretty cool. And then to know, like, oh, he's doing better with it. Like, he's also in a relationship, and it makes sense given he has a deep connection with his therapist, so it makes sense that he loves her, and, they have a kid together, but they're trying to hide it, and the way they hide it, and how Lucy acts. Hey, Neil, can you help me do this? And, like, the moments where he walks out, and she's like, yes. It's like, it's really like, wow. Like, and Neil is like, and Lucy tries to disconnect from Neil, and Neil's like, no, this wasn't wrong, wasn't a mistake, and like, there's so much like sincerity in Luca Marinelli's performance. By the way, Alyssa Jung is Luca Marinelli's wife, so they're actually in a relationship.
Interesting.
So I'm sure that helped with like the chemistry of him needing to be like really, probably like overly, maybe weirdly connected and emotional to her. Yeah, and like, they trying to get out, and like she gets capped and he gets capped, and it's all over, and this is how this all starts, where Sam disconnects, starts being an independent porter. Fuck Bridges, you killed my wife and kid.
Get
Fuck
out of here.
you.
Yeah,
and you see that, and it's just like, you kind of understand why this all started and how Sam was in that position in the first game of like, oh yeah, she didn't just commit suicide. Bridges fucking killed her.
Yeah. That's
and
insane.
I guess he knows, like, he has to have some.
Take that as I think he just thought they caused it in some way, not necessarily they murdered her. That's how I took it. Like, because then he still goes back and works for them. So I don't know.
Yeah, true.
That's my
Maybe
guess.
he doesn't know.
I think he knows she died.
He knows something fishy.
And I just don't think he understands the circumstances. Really quick on the timeline, as far as Reddit's telling me here. Okay. The original Death Stranding occurs in 2019 when the game comes out. Okay. And then the games take place approximately in 2060. Wow. So about 40 years.
Okay, yeah.
So that would make sense.
We're too off. Yeah. Death Stranding, man. I mean, like, the ending, like, I feel like if there is a Death Stranding 3, I think it should be a while from now. And obviously we know OD is next.
Fizzent's coming.
There's a few more projects in line before.
So did you read that interview? They were talking about it on Sacred Symbols.
No, I didn't watch that episode. What was the interview?
So he was just talking. I can't remember who was interviewing Kojima, but they were like, "Oh, so Death Stranding's been out for a month. What's Kojima working on now?" And he's like, just talking about how he's still, he's still kind of in it. He's doing interviews for it and all that stuff.
Yeah.
He's
We're
going
still in
over
Death
the
Stranding
data
2 mode,
and all that. And he's like, as far as Fizzent goes, that's still in the conceptual stage. I'm working on that by myself right now. And I'm like,
wow, he's cooking, dude.
But like, also like,
what?
Why are we announcing these things? You know what I mean? Like, especially when you're in, I get it. Death Stranding, I think, was one thing. They had a trailer for it. Fizzent, if you're still in like the conceptual stage and you just have like a name and it's just him working on it by himself still. What?
Because they're clearly working on OD. OD is next,
right? But we don't even really know. Like that's like seems to be like a kind of a movie / game type thing, right?
So I'm taking it as a horror movie game, sort of like Pentiment or Until Dawn, less choice driven, more point and click adventure, like Police Knots and Snatcher, some of his original games. I think it's going to be more like a point and click adventure horror game. And I kind of want to see something different from him. So I'm all down for, because I would think it would be boring if every game Kojima made was an open world action game.
No, I agree.
And
it's funny, like, I guess this is an action game, but like,
it is.
The action doesn't like take the forefront from, it kind of does, I guess, with the boss battles, which are definitely one of the weaker elements for me personally. I just don't think they're super dynamic, and I feel like they're kind of they're easy until they aren't. Like
until you get overwhelmed.
Until you just get hit or something by accident and you're just completely fucked. Like I don't know. I felt like that was definitely the weakest element for me. And there is one other thing I will speak to on this, which I think can be maybe explained a little bit away by the rewriting of the game at a certain point. I'm curious how deep into it Kojima was when he did that. I'm surprised for how similar this game is to the first game, gameplay-wise, how long it took. Because they did, and this isn't a bad thing to make. They reuse a lot of assets, which is fine. I'm not going to be like, even like the animations for how the roads are made, how a lot of the things like are created, how things are printed. Like there was a lot of reuse of and even like, certain vistas, I'm sure they have to create new stuff. They have to create like the desert area and, things like that.
Yeah.
It just kind of surprises me that for how much is reused in this game, that it took that long. But also,
COVID.
That it's COVID, but it also speaks to video game development in general these days. I don't know.
I think it could have been longer, dude. I don't know. I don't feel like, why I don't feel like Death Stranding 2 is that far away? Because we got like the director's cut, and like I'm curious to see if we're gonna get a DS2 director's cut. Obviously, we're gonna get a PC port, so it'll have again. I think we talked about this before. But Death Stranding had the initial launch, then the PC launch, then the Director's Cut launch on console on PS5, next gen update, and then it came out. Director's Cut came out on PC. So we had like 4 bumps.
Did it ever
for Death
come out
Stranding.
on Xbox? Like proper? Like it's just okay.
It's
so I know it was on Game Pass. Like
it's out.
Yeah, okay, all right. Yeah,
I don't know if there's a physical version.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I'm interested to see, going back to what I was saying about what they're gonna do with Death Stranding 3. I just hope we don't see it for a while. I would love a Death Stranding 3 where you're playing as Tomorrow, maybe in the far future. Maybe, we're a bit into her journey as a porter or whatever she's doing.
Right.
But I really love the way the game ends. Her kind of like following in her father's footsteps and in the footsteps of her found family. And
I was about to say, and her family.
And Fragile and Dead Man with the BB case that she holds all her like personal belongings in. To see her in her getup with like a new haircut, going into a plate gate somewhere and going into a her own adventure. I'm like, it's an awesome way to let it off, and it could be totally done here, but there is room for more with this one.
I feel like it's like,
but everything is tied with a nice bow.
It's whenever you make a second thing, I feel like you kind of have like you can leave it at a 1, but then when you make a 2.
it's a slippery
Feels like
slope.
you need a
But,
3.
and here's
Yeah.
the thing, because I think if we made another one right off the bat, like how can I mean, I guess I asked the question. I think it was easy to kind of like, how can we make Death Stranding 1 better than you have Death Stranding 2 with all its little changes that make
Quality
things,
of life improvements.
right. Just
Yeah.
like, hey, we did it once. Now we can kind of get into like, how could we made the walking better or things like that, or
More
like,
dynamic.
Okay, now we have like the handgun thing and like, you know, the holster and like things are different. It's the same game but tweaked a little bit more so the gameplay is more intuitive and better. How do you do that for a third time? I think we need some time away from it so that gaming as a whole can kind of change a little bit, and I think that
Definitely.
will change Death Stranding, and I think it will give new ideas so that when Death Stranding 3 ultimately maybe comes out, it's like it feels fresher, because I feel like if they made another one quick, it's like,
What are we doing?
yeah,
Same.
like how much more can we do?
And I would just like to see something a little bit different.
And I
or
think
even
OD
back in
is
the,
going to be that.
And like, again, I get this is an action game and there's stealth in it, but I would love to see that proper Fizzant, like stealth action game from him.
Speaking of Fizzant, the Metal Gear Solidness of Death Stranding 2 with Neil
about
looking
to
like
say.
Snake, and then Hayes saying "kept you waiting, huh?" Like I think that was cool.
Gooch, you know, my hand being gone, it's something akin to a phantom pain.
Yeah,
It's something like
Kojima. Like I think it was Fred in our Discord who was saying like Kojima can't let. I'm like, what do you?
He can't what?
He can't like let it go. I'm like, what do you mean he can't let it go? I'm like
Let what go? Like,
Metal Gear Solid. Like, is he not allowed to like? I'm like, that's ridiculous. Like he's not like, it's not like he's doing Metal Gear Solid again. He's just being kind of funny.
Yeah,
I'm
no.
sure that's what it is. I'm sure it's less like I'm still upset about Death Stranding. I'm sure he is in a way. I'm sure that is a lot like losing a fucking
upset
child.
about Metal Gear Solid, you mean?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
the way he left Konami, I'm sure he will never forget that as long as he lives.
God, I would love to hear
I'm
the
sure
actual
he's
whole story.
over it in a way, but I'm sure he.
Well, but
carry
it's
that
always his
around with
baby,
you.
and yeah, of course he's going to
so
reference it.
he used Phantom Pain is not like it's a Metal Gear reference, but it's also a thing. The kept you waiting, huh? Obviously, just being cute, and like Neil looking like Snake. I think he's just being cute. I don't really think it's like him kind of not being over Metal Gear. I don't think that's it at all. I mean, Metal Gear Solid 5 was a very hateful game.
Well, and
Like,
I
and
also
Death Stranding is very not.
I think a lot of auteurs call back to their earlier works all the time, especially their major babies. Like I'm sure in every Tarantino movie, there's a ton of references to other Tarantino movies, whether it be like a name or something, or just
like,
something like,
with the
or even in
feet?
the background,
The
or
feet?
yeah, you know, like and that's just more of like a through line for him. But yeah, I don't know, that doesn't bother me at all. Personally.
Yeah, I just saw like some conversations even in other places. I'm like, I don't like, why is that bothering you so much? It's not like they're like doing Metal Gear Solid again. It's like not like that at all.
Well, I think I'm trying to think of another.
Yeah,
example.
he's doing his another take on the Phantom Pain's gameplay structure, but I think that's it.
Well, the stealth action thing, that is his genre too, which like, yeah, I kind of want him to make it like, I want him to make another proper stealth action game,
And
which,
that's what
within
Fizzin'
Fizzin.
will be. Yeah.
Whereas like this is like, yeah, there's the action in it, but like the delivery is the cake. That's the icing is the combat to me in this. Like, whereas the delivering mechanics are the meat of it. That's
Right.
what I'm there for.
Right.
So I don't
Right.
know. I digress though. I think that's it for us.
Death
Gooch.
Stranding 2 is, of course, my game of the year. How could it not be? I think it's going to be a tough year. I think Kingdom Come is still going to be up there. We have a lot of games that are heavy hitters this year that are really going to be competing with Death Stranding 2.
I need to
But,
go back through my like.
Dude, I can't wait for the Game Awards where Elle Fanning's going to present some award, or, you know, Troy Baker being nominated for Higgs, or like, you know, Kojima sitting front and center. I'm sure Churches will be there. I'm sure Woodkid is going to perform one of his songs. Like, I'm sure Jeff's going to make that happen, and I can't fucking wait to see it.
Dude, I mean, yeah, I think it's going to be fantastic. I just was about to say something about Kojima, and I totally forgot my train of thought. Yeah, I can't wait. It's for me. It's not my game of the year. It's maybe my second spot or third.
It's one
No.
of your best games of the year.
Absolutely. I think
Yeah.
it's easily top three.
I'm like, how can it not be? It's so unique.
No, it's
you
so
know?
unique,
It
it's
stands
so-
out. Like, that's kind of, and I think that's kind of the thing.
I've spent 120 hours with it. Like,
Yeah, I think I've spent a bit more.
So-
and I'm very close to the platinum, so I'll report in that on another podcast.
I think
when
I
we
am
get
going to go back for it. I think I'm only missing 10
Yeah.
trophies, so I'm going to see what I can
there.
do here.
Did you 5-star everybody?
Close.
Okay.
There was an area that I don't have filled out yet. which I don't know how to. It's that last Ghost Mech like factory area. That's like I still don't.
Did you meet Mr. Impossible?
I don't think so.
I think they're locked out until Endgame.
Okay, that might make sense.
Because Dilly, member of our Discord, you can join that in the description. He was talking about there is some stuff that you cannot do until you beat the game.
That makes sense because
like
there are
the
a few
guitar
areas
you can't get until you beat the game.
Yeah.
Like you fabricate it.
I'm only missing I think like 4 like places to turn on to like add to the network.
Oh, I thought you got everything.
There's
Well, you didn't get Mr. Impossible. So.
right, but as far as like
Those
5-star goes, I think I only have excluding those people like 4 or 5 left.
Oh, okay, cool.
Because the starting side, the East Coast, I finished. The Northern Coast, I'm finished except for the mechanic, and then I need to finish out the Ghost Hunter, Fisherman. I finished the meta whatever biologist or whatever I need to do. So yeah, there's a couple.
Metagenomicist.
Yeah, I finished the chronobiologist.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. We didn't talk about the Deborah Wilson stuff, but that was cool. With like the Deborah Wilson stuff. Like the motherhood and because there's a big theme of like the pregnancy stopping at 7 months and like it just halts. Like the baby's not dead, but like
it's frozen in time.
Yeah,
almost,
and that being a big theme and like
that's happening all over.
Brought this like female rights sort of thing into this where people are like stealing like are they stealing the BBs? What are they stealing from the motherhood or like their food and stuff?
I think they're just trying to
or
steal
they're stealing
stuff.
the women.
I think that they're going for the women and also just for their food and supplies.
Which is very
and, like,
Mad Maxy.
Definitely.
for Australia.
I mean, I do think, and I think, I heard Colin talk about this on the Sacred Symbols episode, and I do think that these games are deeply even pro-life in their messaging and how they talk about, fetuses and babies and life being born and continuing. I think there's a lot that Kojima has to say on it, whether or not I'm picking up on all of it or I'm smart enough to really gather it. I don't know. But.
Right, and I think his intellect and his ability to say all of this stuff without really being obvious about it, I think is like speaks to him as a person, but also his ability to write and create a game and be like, I have things to say, but I'm not just going to say I'm pro-choice or pro-life. I'm going to like
you're going to glean what you want throughout my writings. Right. And what I'm saying.
There's definitely a message here, but like there's also something to like
to gather yourself and to find that message yourself. And
exactly.
I do think that again is rare in video games. The last one I played where I felt very like psychologically put through the ringer was maybe Silent Hill. Like where I was like, there's a lot of thematic and like
game.
You know what I mean? Like I really kind of had to sit there and simmer on it for a little bit, and it's nice.
I haven't returned to that since I beat it.
Me neither. And it's nice to have that feeling, especially out of a video game every once in a while. Like I got that after Kingdom Come. I got that after Red Dead. There are just certain things I after I stop playing, I really just have to. I want to simmer on them, and it just makes you enjoy them more. But Gooch, does that do it for us here for Death Stranding 2?
I'm sure there's more to say. I'm sure we forgot something. We didn't talk about the samurai that much, but I don't know.
Oh, right.
But I think I mentioned he was dead man, but we didn't say that much. But
sick.
Yeah, like I don't know. I love this game. I think my negatives lie within some nitpicks and some things that like were in Death Stranding 1 that weren't in 2. And but ultimately I love the experience. I'm still loving the experience, and I've been trying to not speed through it. I didn't have a job. I was like really trying to make sure I didn't blow through this game.
Right, it could be
I finished it in about a month, but I'm still working on the platinum. I think I'm about 100 and approaching 130, 140 hours.
When did it come out?
Like the 26th of June.
Okay,
24th,
so it took me about a month and a half probably then.
Yeah, and I started a few days before you.
Yeah, you did. So, and again, I was really trying to dig in. Playing the first game did that to me because I don't know why. It started that itch where I was building everything. I built all the roads, everything. So,
Trio, play us out, buddy.
I will play us out. Thank you all so much for watching with us live on twitch.tv/Delco Nerd Network. We really do appreciate your time. You can find this podcast, anywhere podcasts are found. Just search our name on your service of choice. We got a Facebook page, a Discord channel, all of which shall be linked down below. You can find us all on all the social medias at Delco Nerds on everything with an @sign. All this information is at our website, delconerdnetwork.com. You can even email us your comments, questions, or concerns to delconerds@gmail.com. We'd be happy to get back to you. But for Gooch, I've been Trio. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay nerdy, and tomorrow is in your hands.